All right, all right. What is up? What is up, good people? We are in the building. My mic sounding good. Everything looking good, sounding good. Should be a okay. Probably should have made a couple more adjustments. Ugh. But we in here. We in here. Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you coming on through. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Whether you're catching it live or you're catching after it's uploaded, make sure you hit the like button. Appreciate each and every one of you. This is going to be a controversial one. It's going to be a controversial one, but I do got backup. I do got backup clips to substantiate a claim. A claim that I saw floating out there a lot, that the whole Ike and Tina thing, it wasn't as one-sided as a lot would think when it comes to the abuse. I'm gonna be getting into that. I'm gonna be getting into that, and that's gonna be a rough one for somebody. I've heard a lot of people talk about that. I've heard a lot of people just float it out there, but I hadn't heard what I'm gonna play today. What I'm gonna show you out today, something coming from an eyewitness. So this is gonna be good. So strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Where's the intro? Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? We are in the building. Game, set, match, ready to go. Game, set, match, ready to go. Shout out to everybody in attendance. Shout out to the early bird squads, those that make it in the building bright and early, dropping comments before we even get things started. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to Uneducated Lane in the building. Appreciate you coming on through. 28 people in here. Make sure y'all hit the like button. TD Hutch is predicting another classic. I certainly think so. This is something I've been sitting on for a little bit. Talking about the Ike and Tina thing, and I said, what better time to bring it up when another male celebrity who everybody once thought was just the ultimate abuser, Gonna roll some clips because a lot of people forgot when Amber Heard was at a damn me speaking at a Me Too rally. Like, I mean, she used the backdrop of Me Too to trump up her victim card. She's a victim of violence. She put that out there that Johnny Depp was abusing her. She put that out there and used the whole Me Too thing to try to sell it, to try to sell that notion. Tried to ruin that man. Now all the truth is coming out, but we're going to dig a little deeper and unearth some more truth. But we got Snuggles 668 in the building. Shout out to Snuggles. Shout out to Omega Dreads Gaming Channel in the building. Shout out to you. Also, shout out to Sun is Hot Ra in the building. Shout out to you. Darth Low in the building. The Mac the Trucker, Feminine Melanin says, good morning, everyone. Hope y'all been having a great week. And as she says right there, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, all that good stuff. Insane One in the building. Darth Low, Bowdy Thug. Shout out to you. Shout out to Bowdy Thug. All right, all right. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I ain't gonna hold y'all up with too much perfunctory. Shout out to David Carroll on that word, perfunctory. At least I think that's his word. I'm forgetting now. But yeah. Well, no, yes, I will babble a little bit about yesterday's show. Yesterday's show was definitely a good one. I actually made it work. I had Ike on the big screen. I was happy to be able to pull that off. I was happy to be able to pull that off. Had Ike on the big screen. We definitely talked about a lot of good things that brothers need to hear with globalization, modernization, all of this coming. The train is coming. Got to make sure you don't get ran over. Got to make sure you're not laying on the tracks. And so I definitely say you want to check that one out. It was a wealth of information, and me and Ike will be live and in person at in Philadelphia at the Mumia Obsidian Ali experience. We will be there live in person. So go to the website, get your tickets. Let me type in Black Mantle. Some of the moderators probably already got it, but let me type in Black Manosphere.events. Come on. Black Manosphere.events. So y'all can go. Excuse me. So y'all can go and get your tickets. Oh yeah, okay. I see Feminine Melanin, aka Jada LaRue, already dropping it on down there. Thank you for that. Your Body Thug says yesterday's conversation was good. Yeah, I'm going to be working in conversations like that a little more. I used to do those a lot, then I kind of got away from them. But yeah, I will be bringing them back. Oh wait, yeah, that is the wrong one. It's a couple different websites, but we'll get it right. That's the one you need right there. Just copy the link for that one, blackmanosphere.events. But yeah, definitely. But all right, we're about to get into this. But oh yeah, but no, what I was saying about the Black Manosphere meetup 2.0, aka the Mumia Obsidian Ali experience. Like I was saying, I'll be there, Ike will be there, Shannon Rouse will be there, Theo Waff will be there, obviously Obsidian will be there. And I just heard Obsidian formally announce that Dennis Sperlin will be there. There's other big names that they're trying to get in. I'm not on the team of trying to get. I don't so I'll be giving you the knowledge information on that as I get it, because I'm not on the recruitment team, so to speak. But they're trying to pull in a lot more big names, so they're working on that. So I'll be keeping y'all posted on that. But you can definitely go to the website. But we're about to dig right into this topic before we talk about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp situation. I want to lay out real quick. We got Lakeith in the building. He said, just wanted to say, hey, bro, Justice for Johnny, hashtag justice for Johnny Depp. Absolutely. Absolutely. But but before we dig all the way in, before we dig all the way into that whole Johnny Depp situation there, I want to put this one out here because I saw this 3 weeks ago. I saw this 3 weeks ago. And the title of this video is called Ike Turner was a stand-up man, but Tina was You'll have to watch the video to see what he called Tina Turner. But this is coming from Judge Joe Brown. You see right here. He's on the show, The Real Dana. I don't know a whole lot about her. I just see her name and thumbnails pop up, and I don't know. I see her around here and there. Shout out to George Macon right there. I spoke to him on a panel before. Shout out to George Macon. Actually, I used to donate to his thing, Urban Nerds. Urban Nerds. A little something that he do. I see brothers doing something. He was doing something for the youth. I was I'm not gonna say how much. It wasn't that much, but I sent some reoccurring payments. When I see brothers doing something, I throw them a couple dollars, just a couple dollars. I ain't balling like that, but I throw a little something on it. So shout out to George Macon down there. But the star of the show here is is Judge Brown. Judge Brown. He's on the show with The Real Dana. Like I said, I don't know that much about her. Can't vouch for who or what she is or what she be talking about. But I do know that that Judge Joe Brown is a regular on her show. That's the only thing that I do know. And the subject of Ike and Tina came up because Judge Joe Brown was calling Will Smith. This was 3 weeks ago when the Will Smith thing was really popping off. Judge Joe Brown was calling Will Smith all kind of bad names, and they say, how you gonna say that about him? But you said Ike Turner was a stand-up guy. But you gonna say Will Smith is a bitch, but Ike Turner's a stand-up guy? How, Sway? So they put Judge Joe Brown to task about that, and he stood in it. He stood in it. He stood in it big time. So we're about to get into that. We're about to roll the I normally say not so beautiful bean footage, but no, we about to roll this beautiful bean footage because this was interesting. But Indigenous TV in the building. Shout out to Indigenous TV. He says Bernard got the Al B. Sure leather jacket. You see where I'm going. You see the vision. Channeling some light skinned energy today. A little light skinned energy today. Okay, yeah, we about to get into that. Feminine Melon saying, I will say I saw a couple interviews and things dealing with the real details of Tina and Ike's stressful relationship, things like the grape scene, and if it was just only him actively hitting or her too. Yep, we're about to get into that. We're about to get into that. But all right, so without further ado, I'm about to go ahead and roll the not so well. No. Well, for some, this will be not so beautiful bean footage. I'll say that. But either way it go, let's get ready to go. Let's go and get into it.
Hold on. I am, but I gotta come back on it. You're right, brother. And you know what? We need to sick Will Smith, the bitch slap him for coming up with that concept that Hollywood has run with so thoroughly.
All right, thank you. Thank you to no, wait, Obi, come on. Please.
What he said.
No, wait, no, because I need to move on to the next topic.
This is a complete side note. That right there is why I'm no fan. I'm not against it. I'm not just trying to, tell y'all to get pitchforks and tiki torches out about it. I'm no fan of women-led panels when it's like all men, but the woman is heading the panel. I'm no fan of it. It's a lot of that going on, so I understand. It's a thing. It happens. I'm not telling nobody what to do. But when a woman has to run a panel, it's impossible to run a panel when you got 4 men on there and everybody trying to talk. Then that puts that woman in a situation where she got to be like, hey, be cool. Shut up. Shut the hell up. I'm trying to run the show. Where she got... she's forced to, as they say, get into her masculine energy. But at the same time, when you're a man and you're on the panel and you trying to say what you got to say, and the woman is the head running the show, then yeah, okay, that woman can tell you to shut the fuck up, and you got to shut the fuck up. That's so. That's why I don't just be hopping on female panels. I'm gonna be talking to women. I'm gonna be in control. I'm gonna run the goddamn show. But anyway, that's just me. That's just where I'm at. Then y'all do what y'all want to do. Yeah, y'all do what y'all want to do. Y'all have at it. But that's just the nature of the game. When a woman got a bunch of men on her panel, she got to run her show. So she got to tell them to shut their ass up if they start talking over her. It's just the reality.
Big J XXX says, ask Judge Joe Brown, how can Will Smith be a punk while the judge big up Ike Turner? Explain that. Exclamation.
Did what?
He wants me to ask you, how can you say Will Smith is a punk, but at the same time you big up Ike Turner? Oh my God. It's your damn Wi-Fi. You can't hear me.
Big up on Ike Turner. I support Ike.
Yeah, you support Ike Turner, but you call Will Smith a punk. He's calling you a hypocrite.
Will Smith is a fucking punk. He's a little sissy ass punk.
Well, he says, how can you compliment Ike Turner and not call you? Shouldn't you be calling Ike Turner a punk?
Has been badmouthed by this Hollywood. Ike Turner, I grew up where Ike Turner was an icon in our neighborhood because he always stopped with his homeboy, brought fries and hamburgers and Cokes, and would sit there and talk to us youngsters for 2-3 hours at a time, telling us to stay straight, focus on school, get a decent career together, act like you've got some sense, treat women with respect, and treat your communities with respect. Tina Turner drove around in a match.
Now, for what it's worth, like when I first heard this part right here, I was new to this, hearing the counter narrative when it came to Ike Turner. I was new to it. But when I first heard that part right there, my immediate reaction, and if y'all are, thinking people, your immediate reaction, well, a man can do all of that and still be a complete, monster inside the house, So I was waiting for him to land the plane. I was still at this point in the conversation waiting for him to man, get out of there, Emmett Perry. That's coming. That's coming. That is coming. That's coming. Because this was new to me. I'll say this. I had heard Emmett Perry said, yeah, Nino was passing out turkeys on Thanksgiving. But no, I had heard Angry Man say it before that Hollywood had been lying on Ike Turner and all kind of stuff like that. I've heard him say it. I never heard him substantiate the claim, so I kind of brushed it off. Into now to I heard Judge Joe Brown saying what he's about to say here.
In Rolls Royce, and if you made the bad mistake of confusing the two vehicles, she had rolled the window down. Turner drove and treat your communities with respect. Tina Turner drove around in a matching Rolls Royce, and if you made the bad mistake of confusing the two vehicles, she had rolled the window down, cuss you out, spit at you, tell you weren't worth a goddamn, and she would treat you like dirt. How else would I do that? Okay, fine. One particular anecdote, personal eyewitness ear.
Eyewitness, that's important. That's important. This ain't hearsay. He's saying he saw it with his own eyes.
Ears heard, went to a picnic, family style picnic, not picnic, barbecue, 4 houses down from where the Turners live. Ike was down doing his gardening. He put his trowel down, wiped his hands over, came over and talked to the young men, including me. We all played football for Dorsey High, asked us how the team was doing, talked stuff to us, told us to be in school. He went back. That witch, Tina Turner, came out the door, started cussing at him. He started talking to her saying, please, there are children around. Stop that. She wasn't mad at him about a woman. She was mad at him because he had a writer's block on a song they were working on. She wound up coming out and hitting him as hard as she could, it looked like, with one of these heavy cast iron head rakes. We thought she'd done him some serious harm. Yeah, we saw that. I saw her when she was standing in line at Ralph's Market on Crenshaw Boulevard at the railroad tracks. There were 4 little high school girls went to Dorsey. I was in college, a senior at the time. Tina was standing in front of them. One of them got the nerve. Tina turned around and called her a sleazy, greasy bitch. Don't ever talk to me unless I give you permission. The girls started crying. That's why I don't have any respect for that woman, because Hollywood sat there and tried to run a game on Ike. Ike and his new wife were in front of me for 2 arbitration.
Now, for those of us who grew up, like, what's love got to do with it? Came out around 92-ish. I was born in 82. So I was a kid. Like, I was a kid, and Tina Turner was a victim. Ike Turner was a monster. That's just all. That's all it was. He was Mister. She was Celie. That's what it was. That's how that stuff get ingrained in our head. That's how and why we don't think objectively when we look at stuff like this. That's how and why we believe all women. That's why the culture is in this way. It has moved in this direction where it's at, where somebody like Amber Heard could just start saying stuff. She could just start saying stuff and everybody ran with it. She hopped in the Me Too movement. She was all a part of that. And the whole works. The whole works. Why? Off her word, because they have been putting it out there for years. They have been putting it out there for years. These men are just monsters. These women are victims. They put that out there for years. They made movies about it. We all blindly believe it. We all blindly, we just go with it. We literally just go with it. I see you, Sir Tice, saying it was already in play with the color purple. Oh yeah. No, I'm just. What's love got to do with it? Was along the. I mean, color purple came out in 1985. Color purple was 1985. What's love got to do with it? That was 92-ish. Somewhere in that realm. And so yeah. They definitely put out the narrative, and that narrative came, more so from just not necessarily from the movies. See, that was my guess. He said you just confirmed it was 92, Sir Tice. That was my guess that it was 92, but it didn't come just strictly from the movies. Okay, it wasn't just strictly from the movies, because she was running with that narrative all through their divorce, all through her, second spark of her career after him. What's love got to do with it? And the whole, that was the name of her, her song. She was basically singing about being in an abusive relationship. And here she is, evidence that she was abusive in the relationship. Not over a woman, over him having writer's block on a song. Like, that is wild. That is wild. Now, this don't just make him completely innocent, because it very well could be the case that it falls within the confines of what's known as bidirectional violence. Which most of the time when there's violence in a relationship, that's literally how it is. It's bidirectional. It's violence in just 14% of relationships, but within that 14%, 58% of that is bidirectional violence, meaning both people in the relationship are violent towards each other. Like, that's what that means. So they bare minimum was in a relationship where both of them got violent towards each other. But shout out to Sir Tice in the building with the $5 super chat. He says, I haven't been able to confirm this, but Tina allegedly had a kid with one of the band members of Ike's band, and Ike still raised him. This is my first time hearing of that. I've heard, that Ike got one of the one of the dance girls pregnant. I've heard about that. You know, that will get put out there. That will get put out there. But no, I haven't even heard that one. I haven't heard that one at all. That one is actually new. And that one is actually new to me. And then just the overall nature of her just being rude with people, you know. You know who somebody really is and what their character really is and how they treat people that they don't need. Like the whole concept of, you know, getting successful, having money turns you into who you really are. Like that is so her being mean to high school. He said she was being mean, caught her being mean to high school girls. Just basically don't speak to me unless I give you permission. Like that's a whole nother ordeal right there. There's a whole nother ordeal.
Proceedings. You know what for? Why, sleazy, greasy bitch, don't ever talk to me unless I give you permission. The girls went to Dorsey. I was in college, a senior at the time. Tina was standing in front of them. One of them got the nerve. Tina turned around and called her a sleazy, greasy bitch. Don't ever talk to me unless I give you permission. The girls started crying. That's why I don't have any respect for that woman, because Hollywood sat there and tried to run a game on Ike. Ike and his new wife were in front of me for 2 arbitration proceedings. You know what for? Because they had a foundation to help out abused women. What it was about is if the woman signed a contract, they would give her money to escape from the abuse. If she went back, she owed a repayment on what was a loan. If she left, it was a gift. That's what it was about, because Ike Turner was an upstanding man, and that sleazy heifer. Oh, and I don't even talk about what she used to do when she was a pimp in Memphis. And when I
that sleazy heifer. I want to take the time to talk about now. Look, okay, prior to watching this, somebody would have told me that Ike Turner ran an organization for abused women. I would have bust out laughing. Prior to hearing this, I would have cracked up laughing if somebody would have said Ike was running some type of a organization for abused women. You could tell the way that he said that organization was structured. You could tell that was structured by a man who understands the concept of women being violent towards men. It was structured in a way to where if we give you money, we give you any resources to help you get away, and you get away and you stay away, then we know you were actually being abused. Okay? And you could just keep it. But if you go back, it was a loan. If you owe us that money, you got to pay us that money back. Like, only somebody who's been through it with a woman understands the importance of setting up an organization that way. Because most of the organizations that are set up to help abuse women, they on some believe all women type stuff. That's one where it's like, I'm down to help abuse women, but I don't believe all y'all. I don't believe you. You need more people. You could tell that's how that one was set up. And I love that. I love that. If you being abused and you need to get away, then okay, yeah, we will support you. We will help you. We will help you get away. But if you go back, you got to pay that money back. And we will take your ass to court. I like it. I like it. Shout out to Edward Anderson in the building. Shout out to Theo in the building. What up, Theo? I didn't see you in the chat. You missed a good one yesterday. I was talking to Ike Ogiamian. Had him on the big screen behind me. It was pretty cool. But yeah, Sir Tice back in here with another one. He says, I've binge watched JJB Judge Joe Brown for 5 hours and could do it all day. LOL. Man, he tells it like it is. Oh, Bernie, read Feminine Melanin's comment confirming what I said. Yeesh. Is that before or after your super? Oh, gotta be before. Hopefully that's it. Tina Turner spoke on it herself, so it's true. It was spoken on when he committed suicide a few years ago. Wow. Wow, so she actually did that. I guess she was actually in, what did Judge O'Brown just call her? Randy Jackson said Tina shot him. Okay. We don't know that. Oh, and she was a pimp. Now, I question how a female can pull off being a pimp, but it happens. I question just the overall working business model of that, how women can pull that off. But like he about to say, she was the meanest, nastiest, grimiest pimp in the game, and I think that's the only way that they can be. I think that's the only way that they can be pimps. they gotta be 10 times worse. I think that might be what it is. that might be the case. But we about to get into it.
I got here back in the early switchy man and that sleazy heifer. Oh, and I don't want to.
That's what it was. Sleazy heifer. I couldn't remember what he called her. He called her a witch a few times, but sleazy heifer. You know you old when you calling chicks sleazy heifers.
Was alone. If she left, it was a gift. That's what it was about, because Ike Turner was an upstanding man and that sleazy heifer. Oh, and I don't want to even talk about what she used to do when she was a pimp in Memphis. And when I got here back in the early 70s and I started getting clients who were scared of that person because she was a gorilla pimp. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Hold on. Wait a minute. We've heard of gorilla simping in this space. That people have been called a gorilla simp. Gorilla pimp? We got to stop the show and type in gorilla pimp and see if that's we got to get to the bottom of gorilla pimp. Okay, it's a song called, no, that's a song. Urban Dictionary. Okay. I got the Urban Dictionary up on gorilla pimp. Okay. To aggressively go after someone you like. I like you and I want you. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. No, it don't say that. But it says to aggressively go after someone you like, to scare or intimidate someone into being with you. So the gorilla pimp, he makes them. The gorilla pimp makes them, get under his pimpage, The regular pimp, he just like, yeah, mama, you need to come on over here. He spit that, that slick talk pimp game. But the gorilla pimp is like, like you either gonna let me pimp you or you gonna regret that you didn't. that's that gorilla pimp. You either gonna be my hoe or you gonna wish you was. That's how that one go. We got another super chat in here. Appreciate everybody supporting the stream. Create Your Music in the Building says, so who was the real narcissist in the relationship? The cake scene was made up in the movie. Then who keeps their abuser's last name? Somebody who want to make money off it. Real talk. I'm not gonna knock that. I'm not gonna knock that. She needed that name. That's just all to it. She just couldn't go. What's her name? Anime Bullock. She just couldn't go be Tina Bullock. No, she just couldn't. Tina wasn't her name. She just couldn't go drop an album as Anime. She like what? She had to keep the name. It just is what it is. So I can't knock that one. I can't knock that one. Now, there are instances where women. I don't want to say this. I don't want to say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Okay. My ex-wife kept my name after the divorce. El Wapo from the Beautiful Lies channel. He said he's been married, I think, twice. I think he said they both kept his name after the divorce. So I don't know. Something about you. She want to keep your name, Shout out to Tina Knowles Lawson, who went and married another man with another man's name. You done brought another man's name into our house and our marriage. God, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that one. But in Tina Turner's case, because she had albums to drop, I can't knock that. I can't, then who keeps their name of the abuser, nah. I don't even know if this part was real, but in the courtroom, Ike was in there like, no, you can have everything. You can take all the money, but the name stays home. The name got my daddy blood on it. He tried to, they made it seem like he tried to take the name from her. like she can't leave with the name. Like they tried to make it seem like he tried to do that. I question whether or not that's true. Whether or not he tried to snatch her name. Whether or not he tried to snatch the name Tina Turner. Yeah, Jackie Kennedy did. Yeah. He said, yeah, Richard Lawson needs to be slapped for that one. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't go for that. I wouldn't go for that at all. But anyway, Feminine Melanin says, Ike said he did remember doing that cake. And so did witnesses, but they have a difference in what it was over. Him smashing the cake in her face. So there was a time. So he did smash cake in her face, but it wouldn't. It was for a different reason. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I questioned everything with the movie. I seriously questioned everything with the movie. I'm watching Winning Time right now, where they're basically doing a TV series, and it's on HBO Max about the Showtime Lakers. And so they, there's a lot of drama. Jerry Buss, who was like, Hugh Hefner. Jerry Buss, the owner of the Lakers, he was basically like a Hugh Hefner type. Then there's Magic Johnson, who we know how Magic Johnson got down. So it's a lot of stuff in the show that make you raise an eyebrow, where some of it is true, some of it is fake, but some of it is verifiably fake. Like they showed the game of like when the Lakers and the Celtics, Magic and Bird played for the first time in the NBA, and the game ended. Norm Nixon got fouled and shot 2 free throws, and they won. They went up 2 points and won the game, or they went up 1 point and won the game. That's how that game ended, in real life. But during the show, it ended with they won that game at the buzzer with Magic Johnson doing a pick and roll and throwing a fancy pass to Michael Cooper that he laid up at the buzzer or something like that. Like that's how. So they changing so much stuff, just verifiable stuff when it came to something that happened in an actual basketball game. We can go on YouTube and see the end of the game. Like they're changing verifiable shit. So yeah, that show got me questioning the hell out of Hollywood. that show got me questioning the hell out of Hollywood. But they even put it in the description. They say some of the situations were, doctored up for dramatic purposes or whatnot. Body Thug says Jerry West requested for HBO to retract his portrayal. Yeah. Jerry West is kind of depicted, kind of badly in there too. As some, ornery jackass kind of, it's so much stuff in there. But yeah, it's Hollywood is fake. Hollywood is fake. And they didn't mind taking a lot of liberties on Ike. Put it like that. They didn't mind taking a lot of liberties on Ike, but we just can't just call it Hollywood. Tina Turner was getting her believe all women, at Me Too adjacent type of stuff on back long before Hollywood made a movie about it. That's how she played the victim to launch her second career without him. She did, based off all the records, everything that I could see, everything that I looked up, prior to this show, that they had a strange relationship where it was some aspects of violence on both sides, where he said some shit where he sounds sort of like Amber Heard. He said he never hit her with a closed fist. He said I'll read exactly what he said. I'll read exactly what he said. But I based off everything I looked up, I will never just give him full innocence. I will never give him full innocence. But her being a damsel in distress, that's dead. That's dead. That's completely dead.
That's how I can talk about a real client who was scared of that person because she was a gorilla pimp. Yeah. Let's talk about that. That's how I can talk about a real man who stopped every time he got over and over and would talk to all of the young boys in the hood about being straight, getting your studies together, paying attention to being crime free, and listening to your parents and being something in life. Yeah, I talk about that punk ass Will Smith doing that unmanly BS, and I support a person that helped myself and a lot of other black boys become men and deal with listening to what he was telling us about manhood and respect. And I saw him act with respect, and I saw that witch that Hollywood made into a prototype for a feminist mad woman act exactly the opposite. That's why I have respect for Ike Turner, because he helped so many of us stay straight and true.
Thank you.
Well
said.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that was for Big J Triple X. Tyron Young.
Big J Triple X.
Says,
and don't give me that goddamn feminist bullshit. What the hell's wrong with you? What's the matter with you? You don't like manhood, dude?
That's where I be at with it. That's exactly what I be feeling and thinking when I be talking to some dudes on this. When we talking about man shit, and then they go and trying to, it's like some dudes are raised in a way where they don't like manhood. It was something interesting. I was listening to some of Dr. T.S. Johnson. That stream I did the other day when Shaquille O'Neal was saying all the stuff about his sons. One part of it that I didn't see is a part where he was basically telling his daughters that to, get with the man that you can control. It's like, man. It's like some men, even successful, even rich, even powerful men is on some stuff where they operate and speak in a way where they want to neuter men and empower women. Shout out to Zero, coined the phrase "daughter niggas." It's like that's how I can't explain that thought process. I can't explain that thought process. He's saying everything that he said was stuff that basically went in line with, or tells me that he more or less, and by the way, fair use. Hopefully the real Dana don't mind me using this. I'm depicting her. I mean, I'm really not even addressing her, but hopefully you don't feel no type of way about this. Like I said, I don't know that much about her, but hey, check out her channel for yourself. She normally have Judge Joe Brown on there as a regular, so she can't be that bad. But I don't know nothing about her. But shout out to the real Dana. Hopefully she don't mind me using this clip. But when Shaquille O'Neal said so much stuff that more or less lined up with the idea, the notion that more than likely where he's saying, I like my daughters more than my sons. I trust my daughters more than my sons. Everything that he said lines up with the notion that he's going to leave all his businesses to his daughters. He's basically, saying, I'm gonna leave my businesses to my daughters. I'm gonna embolden my daughters. Get with me, and you could control to make sure that you have a matriarchal rule over my wealth. And I say wealth, I mean wealth, because Shaq is headed towards wealthiness. You just Google how much stuff that Shaq owns. He owns everything. Shaq is headed towards true wealthiness, and he's trying to make sure that there's there's a matriarchal rule over it. That's where he's going. That's where he's headed with it. And Dr. Tia San Johnson so skillfully pointed out. So skillfully pointed out, and it's something that I've known because I've been listening to Shaq talk for years. Like I said, he's one of my favorite basketball players. When he talks about his stepdad, how rough, tough, and masculine of a man he was, he models his masculinity after his stepdad. That's the man who gave him the kick in the pants for him to be who and what he is today. That's the man that gave him the kick in the pants to be the who and what he is today. He's the man that he is because of that man. But he can't. He only thing he's telling his daughters is just don't. Oh, you want to be with a man like me? Because I was, because he was out there, knocking, banging a lot of chicks. Okay, cool, no big deal, no big deal. All right. He's saying, don't get with a man like me. Find you a weak man you can control. But it didn't even occur to him that, this man that made you to be the type of man that you are, maybe you should be telling them that they ought to be, looking for a man like that. Maybe that's a man that the type of man that you want to be connected to the legacy of your wealth. Or you could do what a normal man, what men of other races do, and just groom your sons to run your stuff. That way no other man have to, come in and be taking part in it. Just groom your sons to run it. Those who are going to keep your name and carry your name after they got married, even though I tend to believe his daughters will be the hyphenated names if they do get married. But either way it go, it's great. It's crazy how some men do not like, they don't like manhood. They will build patriarchy in their own house, but will oppose it everywhere else. Like, let that sink in. He came from a patriarchal man. He's built the ultimate patriarchy in his own house to where he's worth millions upon millions. He's going to be worth billions before he dies. He built that. But everything that he's saying is showing that he don't like that. He don't want to see it extrapolated forward. It's almost selfish. I had these physical gifts that got me in the game in a way that my sons will never get in the game, but they're not gonna, I'm not going to put them in position to keep it going. I'm not going to put them in position to keep it going. Like that's some bull through and through. Are those Z's? Like you going to sleep? Okay, well, let me help you. Let me help you sleep. There you go. You can sleep. There you go. Help you out a little bit. Shout out to Crypto J457. He says, this is a problem. You do not teach your children, they will lose your money. Yeah, it sounded like he liked the hell with the sons.
Tyron Young says, question, isn't culture passed down from your elders? So when the elders failed us, our culture became, not because, do a goddamn spell check, became fraudulent.
Well, my elders didn't fail me. My grandfather should stand up for what's right, even if you got to die for it, or if you got to kill somebody for what's right, you have to do it. And I later found out he and his brother, my great uncle, wound up murdering two deputies down in Louisiana who participated in a lynching of another brother, one of my great uncles. All right. My father was a stand-up guy, always said, fight when you have to. Stand up for what's right. Deal with getting your mind together. And be a man above all costs. My mother said the same thing. Don't you come up being any damn sissy, you be a man. All of my grandparents told me that, and all of my relatives told me that. Deal with being a leader and deal with responsibility. I didn't have anybody let me down on culture. Hell no.
Video Council says, thank you, Dana, for this. Culture and history are intertwined. Everyone on the planet has a history. Africa is the origin of, again, I like to kind of read the comments.
Africa is the origin.
Because
I'm thinking that's it on the whole Ike and Tina thing. I'm thinking that's it on the Ike and Tina thing. Give me a second.
Discussing the solutions. That's for you, Judge.
I give you an okay, right now. Africa needs to listen to the two young men who are going to be High Prince and King of Swaziland and listen to their program about dealing with at least the cultural situation, relying upon avenues of acquiring money and setting up some militaries that can kick some ass, because nobody on this planet Earth gets any respect if they don't have somebody in their background that kicks some ass. The Zulu are respected and studied in military academies all over the world. Build on what they have to offer and listen to them. We are the apex predator on the planet. We admire and glorify abilities to kill. And if you don't have any ability to kill, the rest of the world treats you like you ain't shit.
And that's together, just the reality. Working together to...
Yeah, he ain't lying. He ain't lying right there. He ain't lying right there. Well, all right. I couldn't find. I should have had it ready to go before I started the show, but I can't find a clip of a Ike Turner in an interview because, again, yeah, I know I keep it objective. Tina Turner was far from a damsel in distress. She was, reportedly a gorilla pimp. That's a really aggressive pimp. She was reportedly by Eyewitness, Judge Joe Brown. She attacked him with a cast iron weapon, caused some really harm to him over him having writer's block on a song. Like, he said he saw her with his own eyes cussing out high school students. Like she was, so she was all around. She came off like an all around bad person. She came off like an all around bad person, and he spoke very well of Ike. Ike was, per what he's saying, misrepresented. I did do some research on Ike where, yeah, he did. He said he never hit her with a closed fist, but he did admit to slapping her. He said sometimes she would get down about stuff and then she would bring it on stage. And when it would seep out into her performance, and then backstage after the show, they'll be talking to her, like giving her like a come the hell on type of talk. And then he said, you slap her, like trying to get her, motivated or whatever. See, he explained it like that, but it did sound like that Amber Heard. I'm about to play that clip of that Amber Heard when she was like, I didn't punch you, I hit you. It's the difference. It's like, so yeah, I ain't gonna give him full innocence, but I am going to put it in that realm of what I always talking about, and I've shouting out Dr. T.S.I. Johnson again, that because he did a show where he was basically talking about how technically women are violent and women are more violent than men in domestic relationships. It's actually some truth to that. It's actually some truth to that. I can even pull that up. Like, it's violence in 14% of relationships. 58% of that violence within that 14%. 58% of it is bidirectional. Only 42% of it is unidirectional, meaning one person is being violent. And when it's just one person being violent, 2 out of every 3 times it's the woman. So out of that 42%, it's about to botch the math. 14%, 14 of it is men, 28 is women. So they're twice as much, 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. Let that 2 out of 3 sink in. If it's one-way violence. 2 out of 3 times it's the woman being violent towards the man. Let that one sink in. When we go to, looking at this whole Amber Heard, Johnny Depp case. Let that sink in when we go to looking at that. Let's see. Here you go. Fair use.
I said to Travis, I said to you, hey, tell Travis what just happened.
You told me to do it. You told me to. You said, go do that.
I said, no, tell them what just happened.
And I lied.
And that you punched me in the
You're right.
fucking thing. And
You figured it out.
And you said, no, fuck it. No, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about? And I
didn't
watched
punch
you lie. And then
I didn't punch you, by the way. I'm sorry that.
This is a private conversation he recorded. Just keep that in mind, fellas. Don't be scared to push that record button.
I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, you've been a lot of fights, been around a long time. I know. Yeah.
No, when you fucking have a close.
You didn't get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are you?
What am I supposed to do? Do this? I'm not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are. That's the difference between me and you. You're a fucking baby.
Damn.
You are such a baby. Grow the fuck up, Johnny.
Physical fights?
I did start a physical fight.
Ooh. This woman spoke at a Me Too rally. This woman was speaking out against violence in relationships.
So I had
because,
to get the fuck out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You're admirable.
No, it's not to get you mad. It's not to get. It's just to get out of a bad situation while it's happening before it gets worse. In Australia, when we had the big fight where I lost the tip of my finger, at least.
He mentioned the fight where he lost the tip of his finger. She threw a vodka bottle at him and it slid off the tip of his finger. That's what he's referring to right there.
5 bathrooms and 2 bedrooms I went to
avoid talking to me, to
avoid
working me out. That's
to escape the fight.
You don't escape the fight. You escape the solution.
No.
You escape the solution.
No.
Escape.
I'm sorry, this is not funny. This is not funny, but I can't help but laugh because y'all already know the situation that I'm about to bring up. Y'all remember when homeboy Mike Rashid was stating that men, and to keep in mind, this is some fitness workout steroid. Well, I can go call say he on steroid. He just looked like he roided out type of dude. All right, y'all know who I'm talking about. Yeah, y'all already typing it in the chat. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He was arguing on a panel with Jessica X. This dude got 1 million subs. He pulled up. I think he got 1 million subs. I'm not sure. He up there. He pulled up on Jessica X's panel and said something along the lines of, no, men are not disadvantaged in these type of situations with women. They're not disadvantaged in the court. And then he later told a story of how he was hiding in the bathroom from a woman, little bitty woman trying to fight him. He's hiding in the bathroom because he don't want to get hit by this woman, and he don't want to accidentally hurt this woman while defending himself. He don't want to sprain her wrist while blocking her punch and have to explain that in court. So he'd rather just hide in the bathroom. This man is like 250 pounds all muscle. He probably hiding from a little 130-pound person, 5'2", 130 pounds. He's hiding from her in the bathroom. Okay, he's hiding from her in the bathroom, but then we'll still turned around and tried to tell us that no, men got no reason to be, worried about nothing with no women. We're not at a disadvantage in the courtroom. It's like, come on. Come on. But it's interesting. The same type of story that he explained. Johnny Depp doing the same thing. He said he went from room after room. She following him room after room. He said he went into a room and locked the door and hid in that room. And she's like, no, you're running. What did she say? You're running from the problem. You're not, you're avoiding these hands. Like, come on. Like, it's that bad. It's that bad. JC the Conqueror in the building with the super chat. Appreciate that.
I went to 5 bathrooms and 2 bedrooms. I lost the tip of my finger. At least 5 bathrooms and 2 bedrooms I went to
avoid talking to me, to
to
avoid
escape
working it out. That's
to
the
escape
problem.
the fight.
You don't
She's being violent towards him. He's running into room after room. You're doing this to avoid talking to me? It's like the lack of accountability, the level of just I don't even know what to call this kind of, is that narcissism? Like, what do you call that? That lack of self-awareness. I don't even know what you call that, but the thing, I got to keep circling it back to here. They will conduct themselves like that in a relationship, but then go out to the public, go to the police, go to their friends, go to the court of public opinion and talk like a victim and do it so convincingly to where it's like I be sitting here thinking like I mean, it's like they say it like they damn near believe they shit. Like, she don't sound like a person who knows she's full of shit. She sound like I don't think that she think that she's wrong.
escape the fight. You escape the solution.
No.
You escape the solution.
When you escape the fight, you escape the solution. Solution is a beer bottle up beside his head.
To avoid talking to me, to
To
avoid
escape
working it out. That's
to
the
escape
problem.
the fight.
You don't escape the fight. You escape the solution.
No.
You escape the solution.
No.
You escape figuring it out. We cannot work it out if you run away to the bathroom every time.
Listen to me. Listen to me. A boxer can't go 12 rounds without a fucking minute break.
I'm not giving you a minute break. You do it at minute 3 at the beginning of an argument.
No.
That's when the round ends, at minute 3. So at the 3-minute mark, he needs a break. Let him go to the bathroom for a minute and come back out fighting for round 2. She's just trying to go nonstop with no rounds. That's not how it works. That's not how normal people fight. Like, come on, get it together.
There are rounds, man. And when it gets too fucking hairy, the ref splits them apart or whatever. But all I'm saying is you can't have a solution if the argument just keeps mounting and mounting and mounting and mounting. I fucking go into the bathroom.
Hold on, the Mac the trucker, don't do that. Don't. What? Damn sexy and crazy. Like, no. It ain't nothing sexy about this. Okay, there's a certain type of woman where she could do some crazy stuff, but she was real fine and looked good and had a body before she did the crazy stuff. And I'll acknowledge you still look good, but don't be. I get the feeling that you lumped the two of those together. Like the craziness made her sexier to you. That's what I'm gathering. Okay. That's where we become. I say we. That's where you, Nick Rose, become a part of the problem when y'all find a certain amount of crazy attractive. Right? I don't got that gene. I don't see crazy and then get attracted at all. What the hell? Oh, the Mac Trucker was talking about the woman. I thought he was talking about Johnny Depp. I just didn't say anything. LOL. None of. Jada, you almost got timed out for the first time. Don't say he was talking about Johnny Depp.
And sit on the floor. Bam, bam, bam. Here you come. I come out. Fight. Crazy. Escalated. I split again. I go to another fucking bathroom or a bedroom or something. Knock, knock, knock. Bang, bang, bang. You kept coming to get me.
Like, God damn. God damn. It's like that as bad as it gets. Flip the genders around. That shit don't get worse. Malcolm in the Middle 87 says basically she want to actually fight. Yeah. Him being on the screen ain't had nothing to do with nothing. I mean, he was on the screen. Someone else was saying how he was looking. So a few comments later, the Mac. Said, let's not act like there's no GBT plus men in the man. Okay, now you done got yourself timed out. They ain't over here with a goddamn wrench. The hell? Hold on. Let me, you need a break. You need a break. Okay. You need a break. Go. You go hide in the bathroom. How about that? You go, Jada. You go hide in the bathroom. I just had to time you out. And act like there's no LGBT. They ain't over here with a goddamn wrench. I can tell you that much. You get the hell on. like if some are over here, okay, they are in the shadows. They are being quiet. They lurking about, probably waiting for their perfect moment to jump out. Like, no, like come on, you on that, you see, you ain't trying to go. I ain't gonna go in on you, but you on that junk where y'all be all that charging black men up with being gay for no reason at all. That's the stuff that a lot of y'all do. I ain't gonna go in on you. Okay, so see, and look, you done brought the sisterhood out in full force. Why y'all care about Cracker Pig Depp? Now she's trying to use the why y'all care about this white dude deflection, really, but she's doing that to give protection to Amber Heard. She don't want Amber Heard's fuckery called out, so she's trying to basically say why y'all care about what this white dude going through. That white man, that's y'all enemy, right? That's y'all oppressor. Why y'all care about your oppressor having problems with his woman? But really, she's just trying to offer protection for Amber Heard. I don't like what y'all saying about her. Don't say it. I don't like that y'all are exposing the shit that we be doing behind the scenes when we come in public and try to act innocent. So I'm trying to figure out a reason to get you to not talk about it. Like that's what Glitter Girl is doing right there. Why y'all care about Cracker Pig Depp? Go call some Australian actor some Cracker Pig. Like what the hell? Y'all see this stuff? You see what they do. I don't know Amber. We don't know Amber or Depp. It's a public situation. They're public figures, and we're giving a public analysis of what's going on publicly. What the hell? That was protection for hashtag protect Amber Heard. That's what that was. Very, very low key and subliminal. Very low key and subliminal. Yeah, you making me laugh too. You making me laugh. That shit you posting is real damn funny. Real damn funny. Speaking of Amber Heard, who we not protecting over here, even though somebody just did the ultimate deflection protection tactic. Now that we just heard who she was behind the scenes, we about to look at we about to see her with the mask on though. We just saw her with the mask off. We about to look at her. We about to see how she publicly talked with the mask on. Now this was sometime before. This was probably okay at the time that she's speaking here. At the time that she's speaking here, this was when it had already been leaked out that she had charged Johnny Depp up. And the audio is bad with this one too. The audio is bad. But this was already leaked out that she had charged Johnny Depp up, and she's being a public speaker about that and other, adjacent topics. But still, she's using being in that violent relationship and maybe something that happened in her past, and all of that is just her springboard to speak up for women.
Power we have when we come together, all the progress we made in doing so, and to recognize how much we still have to go to see that full equality, that's full equality, is a reality for all.
Just keep that in mind. Every time y'all hear her saying something right there, keep in mind, I didn't punch you. I hit you. You weren't hit. You were just like punched, but not hit, but punched. And you keep running away from me. Quit running away. He's like, I'm running to fight. But no, you're not running from the fight. You're running from the solution. Come back and fight. Just keep that in mind. Everything y'all hear her say here.
All of us. In the home and at work. In our schools and in the boardrooms. In our pay and our physical safety. In public and in private, in principle and in practice, no matter our age.
He's talking about our physical safety in private, in public and in private. This shit is embarrassing. This is embarrassing that they like this. This is the mask on. We just saw the mask off. We just heard audio of her with the mask off. This is the mask on public display.
Reality for all of us. In the home and at work. In our schools and in the boardrooms. In our pay and our physical safety. In public and in private, in principle and in practice, no matter our age, our race, creed, color, or class. A few years ago, I, like you.
Link in the chat. Anybody want to come on up? Anyone wants to come on up? The link is in the chat. We at the hour and 12-minute mark. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. The Mac the Trucker is right. Feminism at its best. Now, you don't get to say none of that now. You once you admit you turned on by the crazy, then you become a part of the problem. The Mac the Trucker turned on by that. Like, he already thought she was cute, but then when he saw how crazy she is, he was like, oh yeah, that's my type. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you don't get to say nothing. You got to take a knee today. It's it's so crazy. These chicks have made me actually miss the original purpose of what Me Too was about. Because it was a time when, even though, okay, we could tease out the bullshit that was within it, but at the same time, they were talking about young girls who got molested. That's what they were originally talking about when it first started, when Black women actually first started it. They were talking about young girls that got molested. And that's something I got a problem for. I push back on that 1 out of every 3 stat, because when you look into it, it's so much nuance to it, and they make it seem like 1 out of every... The stat is quoted horribly, okay? For reasons that I don't have it in front of me to explain. I have to do another stream on that so I can have the data, right then and there at my hand. But a lot of it happens, from 16 to 17, because it's basically where you ever sexually assaulted anyway, but from the age of, I guess, 0 to 17. A lot of it happens after 16 and 17. We're talking about young girls who, sexually active, and they getting into stuff and going to parties, and stuff is going down between them and others 16, 17, probably 18, 19, 20-year-old. I know the deal. I'm not saying that's okay. I'm just saying that's different from a 5-year-old girl being touched by her 35-year-old uncle. I'm just saying that's a difference. But that 1 out of every 3, they make it seem like it's all that. A lot of it is kids on kids, a 9-year-old on a 6-year-old, or 9 and 8-year-old. Something, so a lot of it is other kids doing it. Sometimes it's a teenager with a preteen. Some, stuff like that. That's bad. I'm not saying none of that is okay. I'm not saying none of that is okay. If you're 15 is touching on a 12-year-old, yeah, that's horrible. That's horrible. But all I'm saying is that they don't parse out the data from full-blown grown adult man touching a literal child. That's the part of the data that needs to get parsed out properly. And then because when they throw that 1 out of 3 out there, they throwing it out improperly. The definition that they set it up when I hate to use this actually Game Changer used this example in the wood when Mike ran and slapped Alicia on the butt. Per the definition that they laid out, that counted. So that's why I don't like that 1 out of every 3 stat. However, the original Me Too movement was about young girls who were molested, who were touched. That's what it was about originally. And that's horrible, and that needs to not happen. Okay? That's horrible, and it needs to not happen. That's something that I think everybody can get behind. When it turned into this shit right here, that's when it got stupid. That's when it got stupid. That's when it became a joke. That's when it became a joke. When it turned into people like the person you see on the screen. Somebody said me poo. Earl Bentley. When it turned into that, that's when it got stupid. That's when it got completely out of pocket and completely out of control. Right there. That precise moment.
Awoke to a world that was starting to catch flame. It started slowly. I arose from my bed one day, a few years into my own private battle, and I smelled the smoke. I had for years walked with tired and weary feet into battle every single day alone, privately, longing for a different kind of world than the one in which I used to live. One that reminded me that despite all that I had done and fought for, all I had said and survived for before and through my very public, heart-wrenchingly lonely battle for justice, that I, a woman, would never truly see it. That my voice couldn't fully count.
Her voice don't count. But clearly, keep in mind, at the time of her saying this, she literally just floated it out there that she was dealing with violence from Johnny Depp. There was a story where she had, she took a picture with it looked like she had a bruise on her face and said that Johnny Depp did it. And then, they said it was pictures of her the next day where the bruise wasn't there. She didn't have no makeup on the next day, but the bruise wasn't there. She's saying her voice don't count. It counted enough to where Hollywood canceled a man who you were abusing because you said he was abusing you. But now she's saying her voice don't count. Her voice don't matter. This is the bullshit. This is the bullshit through and through. This is her speaking at some Me Too rally around the time that she had first started charging up Johnny Depp. Shout out to Edward Anderson in the building. Says she looked like one of those chicks that is going to get creamy with time. Creamy? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
That despite what it took for me to
creamy with time. Are you saying are you just referring to how a lot of how white chicks don't be aging quite well? Some of them, them wrinkles come in. Them wrinkles that really be setting in for black women, somewhere between 40 and 50. Them wrinkles that start setting in. White girls, they set in a little earlier. Is that what you're referring to? melty face, yeast infection, leathery skin. Probably an Edward typo. Edward good for them typos. I be dropping a lot of typos too, but Ed don't even correct this shit. Ed will put a typo in the title and then just leave it. He don't care. You could tell Ed there's a typo in his title. He's like, I don't care. He just keep going. Ed don't give a damn. Ed like, the hell with all this. I'm coming to say what I got to say, and that's that. But the link in the chat, anyone wants to come on up and join the conversation. Right now, we are looking at Amber Heard back when she had the mask on before all the evidence came out that she was actually the abuser. We are hearing her speak with the mask on at a Me Too rally. Let's go.
Stand up and finally raise my voice and to speak my truth.
Speak your truth. Your truth is a lie. Your truth is a goddamn lie.
Really matter. The deck was stacked against me in ways I couldn't begin to imagine. I learned what many women inherently know before they reach adulthood, that in my speaking out, instead of aid, support, respect, I would be met instead with hostility, skepticism, and shame. My motives would be questioned.
This is the believe all women language right here. This is the believe all women language.
My truth ignored. I would be met instead with hostility, skepticism, and shame. My motives would be questioned, my truth ignored, and I would do so alone. That privileged life I lived as a white woman in the entertainment industry, despite the tremendous luxuries enjoyed by many of us women and otherwise traditionally...
They messing up the already bad audio with some clicking and scratching. Shout out to Creation Muse in the building, says, anyone get Game of Thrones vibes from her? She came into power, then torched a whole town in her rage. No, I didn't make the connection. I did not make the connection. No, I didn't make that connect. I normally do make that connect. I do see people do that. There is a such thing as people who like to just tear shit up, burn it to the ground, be the king of the ashes. I do know what you're talking about, but I'm not necessarily seeing that's what she's doing. Elaborate. What do you mean? How is she doing that? How is she doing? Because I like Game of Thrones references. I'm late to the party. I finally, several months ago, I finally went on and binge watched Game of Thrones all the way through. So I'm up to date on Game of Thrones references now. But I don't see what how you're making I don't get how you're making a Game of Thrones reference out of her. So go ahead and clarify that point, because I do love a good Game of Thrones reference. I'll be looking out for it in the chat room. But we are joined by Edward Anderson in the building. There you go. What's going on?
No, nothing much. Just wanted to say what's up. Comment on the topic a little bit.
Go ahead.
Although I'll admit I've been just in the chat. I done had it on mute, but I heard what you said about the the 1 in 3 stat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it like this. The problem I always have with talking about sexual assault and molestation is women, and quite frankly, most black men, like the Shaq types, they only want to have that conversation with to what men do to women. They don't give a damn about what women do to women. Mm-hmm. They make it sound like and it'd be different if it was overwhelmingly like that way, then yeah, that makes sense. But once they ran Iana Van Zam off of the air, that absolutely solidified what was going on, and I'm not really interested in having that conversation. I said it on my channel.
Wait, hold
Yes,
on, wait, real quick. Do we got the actual stats of that? What, do we got the actual stats on how much women are actually inflicting any type of like sexual assault on girls, hell, and boys for that matter? Like,
there's stats on that, but the reality is that stuff is buried. A lot of
yeah,
that stuff is political,
mm-hmm.
and they bury all of it. So even commenting on that, it's gonna be seen as victim blaming. And,
Yeah.
and the big thing the big problem, like I said it yesterday. Like I was going in. I was basically talking about grooming, because basically it was that chick that wanted to get mad at O'Shea for doing a video about her talking about, she told her son, she want to say it's a joke, but she told her 25-year-old son that when his friend turns 25, she can get some of this birthday cake, and she tried to clown O'Shea. Yeah, but O'Shea, there's a bigger point there. It's like the fact that you were even comfortable telling a joke like that, giving your age, that speaks volumes in and of itself. That speaks volumes in and of itself. The fact you would even say that, let alone whether it's a joke or not. My point is, women. This is the biggest issue I have with it. What women do, like even white women in particular, white women like to take other people's plights, and then they like to latch themselves on. Like I'm talking about even in the Middle East. They'll use something like, let's say in Africa, they'll use something like the thing which is horrible, genital mutilation. That practice. White women don't deal with that. They don't go through that at all. Nowhere in this country, nowhere. Not even Eastern Europe, nowhere. But they will latch on to that, and then they will do the same thing they did to the Me Too movement. The same thing. Even though Tarana Burke ain't in front of black men, they will take an issue and they will latch onto it. They'll do what Black Lives Matter literally did too, by the way. They will astroturf their way on it and then use that to tell white men, "Ooh, look at what you did. Look at what you allowed to happen in this pay, whether it has something to do with white patriarchy or not. Fuck the fact that when white women benefit from it, and then they'll say, you need to give us more power and more stuff for under the guise of protection. This is why women have to always be victims. Black women pull the same card. So really, when you see women like Amber Heard, and even when you see women that notice how when women harm their children, it's always seen automatically the woman is crazy, to the point where I ask, when is a black woman not crazy when she harms her children? Because I hear everybody just run to that. That ain't always the case. Just like how we know when people spank their kids, they're not crazy. So, because everybody, I'm talking about men too. They automatically.
No, that's a good point. That's a damn good point.
So my point is, I'm like, all this stuff is designed to be to put me in a trick bag where you get to say, I can do whatever I want to do because I had this quote unquote trauma back in the day, as if men don't go through trauma. Every black men are raised like white men, apparently, in this country, where the way they talk. Because black men don't get the trauma card. It don't matter what we've been through or what we did, what happened to us. You don't even get to be able to mention that as a reason you do anything. And I'm not saying dudes should be able to get a pass with that. But my point is, at what point are women not allowed to inflict trauma on other people? And that includes other women. Because even when women harm other women, the first card people want to pull, take the men out of it for a second. Fuck men. Let's look at the boy. Fuck the boys. Let's look at girls and females. When women do shit to girls, right? I ain't talking about sexually. I'm talking about like physical harm. They get to pull that card of what they've been through somewhere when. Well, if you're going to play that game, then we need to play the game about, okay, maybe you're crazy and you got too much trauma. Maybe we need to just take your baby right after you have it and put it in a foster system. And this is coming from somebody spending a year in foster care, because maybe you're too traumatized to be a mother by the same logic.
Right.
And maybe the state needs to get involved with that. But you see what I'm saying? So we know it's being used one way, which is to be this blanket pass. And if you take the men out of it, what you find is women go for that pass even when it comes to children, and that includes girls. And even when it comes to anything. I mean, anything. Maybe not small animals. They don't get that pass on, but it's always, when they give them pills. Like it was one grandmother that had a little black girl that killed her granddaughter by having her drink whiskey.
Damn,
But
how old was the girl?
she was like 5
And she had her
or
drinking whiskey.
6. No, she made her drink a bottle of whiskey. It wasn't a
Like
couple of shots. She
like a
made it.
pint?
She forced it down her throat. She
God
forced her to
damn.
drink it.
The grown
This is
people can't handle a pint. Shit.
but and she's older. She's old. She's a grandmother. Not an old grandmother either. But she's crazy. And it's somebody that actually deals with somebody with mental issues. Because I have an aunt that has schizophrenia and all of that. That's bullshit. That's like somebody that deals with that. That's straight bullshit that they do that, man. And it really is. And dudes got to stop letting that shit pass. Because even black men be letting that shit rock.
All right, real quick. I forgot who was asking for it, but the stats on bidirectional violence, the stats that basically that give or take how you interpret it. No, I'll go ahead and say it. The stats that basically prove that women are more violent in relationships. I put the link to that in the chat room. Dr. Tia-San Johnson did a whole stream on it, but the link to that is in the chat room because somebody, whenever we say something, somebody, I forgot who it was, he kept saying, "Where's the stats? Show me the link. Show me the link." There's a link to that one, so you can go.
Yeah,
you can go check that one out.
Space need to do a better job, and that includes me providing blog stuff, so we can just give a link with all of this. That because we know y'all are full of shit when y'all ask for that. Y'all just don't want to believe it. That's that in denial. But that way we can shut that down without wasting time.
I'm planning on. I got to get a separate folder and have it ready to go every stream. So every time I mention something, I could drop the link in it. Actually, Obsidian used to do. Oh, he probably still do it. Obsidian's good at that. Just dropping a link whenever he.
Phantom said that little girl was 4, so I'm not off. It's actually worse. It's younger. Yeah. So
yeah, that's even worse. Oh, let me ask you this. I know you weren't listening at the beginning of the show, but I played a clip of Judge Joe Brown basically talking about Ike and Tina Turner because he said he lived around where they were at. He saw them with his own eyes and saw her being violent with him. Saw her hit him upside the head with some cast iron.
We joke about Ike was beaten, but Ike, man, please, like BGS said, these women gave as good as they got. This idea that black women were just getting their ass wally wop, that's bullshit. Yeah. Black women will find a way to hurt your ass. I would argue black women are probably the least timid about attacking men than any other race of women. And tell me if I'm lying about it ain't because they done got hit the most, because we know black men don't be hitting they chicks, hitting women the most. We know that. We know that. Hell, even when you look at domestic charges, black men are in jail for nonviolent drug offenses the most. We not in there for a lot of violent stuff. So the reality is, I definitely can believe that. I mean, Tina didn't just. I mean, we joke about it. But because saying that's how he kind of coached her to perform great. But Tina don't look like she just take it. Now she may take it if she was wrong, like on that what happened with Chris Brown and Rihanna situation, where they're sitting here driving and then she's sitting there hitting on him, and then you get in a survival instinct and he took that too far. And then she think about it. Well, damn, we probably would have been dead if he wouldn't have knocked my ass out. But then the feminist said, you go back with him, you won't have a career. So yeah, women think that way because women know they're violent. The women that are violent, they know they are. So they be thinking about it once they calm down. And that's why a lot of times if you try to say, oh, the dude hits you and come on some savior stuff, even if it's like people in your family, like women, they'll be on some it ain't that bad because they kind of know they know their part, whether they telling you or not. And that's one of the
It's worse than that though. It's worse than that. The man who's getting hit will say it ain't that bad. Like that's
I've cussed dudes out about that. Like cause niggas
you would have cussed me from 10 years ago. And I needed it.
Because I actually cussed the dude out the other day because he was talking about how women proxy violence ain't that bad, because when women are saying stuff like it was, I'm not gonna say the woman, but it was a female that was talking about post. I want you to hear this as a guy that was a former Christian. All that. What do you think when I say post birth abortion?
Ooh, that sounds like just killing the the shot. Yeah,
That don't sound like killing grown men. That
no,
you
that sounds
got
like killing a kid. Yeah,
you got a
right there.
woman that says the woman that said this with a black man, by the way. I'll put it in the private chat. That says we need to have a serious conversation about having post birth abortion, and she was referring to a black male, a young black male, as an it. How do you feed it, clothe it? Look, I have it on my thing, and the point of me even playing that was for all these chicks that want to act like that that you don't hear none of us say this stuff, but y'all be ignoring that. But my point is,
Post birth.
that's the word she used. Yeah, she said,
Wow.
"We need, post birth, but we need to have a serious conversation about that." This is how and she wasn't angry. She wasn't in a mode.
Did she elaborate? Like what was her explanation of whatever it was she was trying to say? Like what?
I'll
How
give
do
you the
you?
clip. Basically, the post birth abortion thing was at the end, but basically, the clip basically says, "How can you clothe it? How can you feed it? How can you birth it?" Referring to black males and knowing what it will become. And they were using terms like nakers and that bullshit that they use. And then she said, we need to have a
Oh
serious
man.
conversation, ladies, about having post-birth abortion. And I'm like, what did the boys do? Oh, what they will become. Like this is how insane that is. And
That hold on, but the biggest insane part about that is the mere fact that they're not even how are they not even looking at it from the perspective of how they raised a child will have something to do with how it will turn out. But she's just saying it's a boy, it's a baby boy and it's male. We know how it's going to turn out. But instead of looking at it from the perspective of you
they
have
don't.
control in that.
Because the way women look at it is they look at accountability like it's either all my fault or all your fault. They don't look at it like a dial. Like if you lose a game, yeah, there may be some people more responsible. But if let's say you lose a game by a point, you missed the last shot or a field goal kicker, sure. But we know there was a whole 48 minutes of game that was played. Call stuff. We look at rolling the tape. So yeah, we believe in who's to blame for what, and let's assign that properly. And if you could argue that the person effed up more that caused the game to go in whatever direction, we can argue that. But women don't see it that way. Women see it as it's either all your fault or all my fault. So therefore, anything that references, and you see this in a relationship. This is how. So going back to what you were saying with Ike and Tina. But no. What you said about men don't see violence. The reality is, I brought that part up to say this. When I was showing that, because actually this show prompted that too. It was a couple of elements. One was what's her name? Not Jada. Basically talking, who I still ain't giving me the email or that information because I'm waiting for it. And then me saying, so you talking?
Actually, hold on. I could send you the dude who was going around in chat rooms saying something about dead black women or something like
Okay,
that.
the person I'm talking about got 25,000 subs.
I must have missed that part.
No, I put it in the private chat who I'm talking about.
Oh no. I know what you're talking about right there. No,
okay.
Actually, she got more. She got more than that.
Exactly. So my thing is you can't equate that, and that's my point. And that was one of the things that prompted that.
And that dude, hold on, and the dude in question, like I said on that same stream, once I saw who it was, I was like, that I blocked that dude a long time ago. Like nobody with a channel that they halfway give a damn about to let somebody be in the chat room that damn reckless.
And
like I think this dude is blocked everywhere.
And let's be clear, we don't have a problem with every time we turn around. Because I'm gonna keep it real. If I constantly had people in my chat saying crazy shit like that, like the point, because I watch my chat. I'm glad StreamYard came up with the option to like move the chat to the side, because that sometimes will have me going on digressing like a mug. If I saw that, I would like reflect and be like, what am I saying to cause all these people to think it's cool to say all this crazy stuff in my chat? No, that's not what happened. Like Smurgo's like the most crazy. Smurgo says the most craziest stuff. And the only thing Smurgo says is you gotta be willing to give the kid up to date me and give it up to the dad. That's that's one of the craziest things. And that ain't even, I mean, when you think about it.
That's not crazy in a certain context. In the context he was using it ain't really make sense, but in a certain context,
but that ain't kill women and all that other stuff.
Exactly.
But my point is the fact that he wasn't taking proxy violence seriously. Like the fact that he just said these women are just talking. I'm like, when you start saying stuff like that, you're not just talking, especially when you understand all they can lie on you. So yeah, you got dudes that don't see the verbal threats. They don't see the physical threats because they don't see the potential for escalation. If a woman hits you and stuff like that, physically, whatever, but she if you let that ride, she will feel comfortable hitting you in your sleep, hitting you in your nuts. She gonna do something that's gonna make you respond, and then when you respond, now you just be wailing on her, and that's the threat. You have to see it. And the way I say to deal with that is, if a chick don't know how to stop, you gotta know how to get away from them. But these dudes, they like that. They like that they see that as a saucy relationship. That's why dudes say crazy pussy's the best pussy. And I say at that point, anything she does to you is your fault because you recognize the problem. But anyway, I saw the Johnny Depp thing. I've been monitoring that more than I was earlier.
That's been crazy. Hold on, real quick. Creation Muse in the building. He said that the 219 of the video you are viewing when it makes the parallel to a female in Game of Thrones storyline. Whenever you get time, replay it. All right, I'll check that out. I'll replay it. I know what you was talking about. You talking about Queen Daenerys when she burned down Casterly Rock. I just wasn't hearing that in what you were saying, but I'll go back to that point. Check it out. But Son is around the building. He says wouldn't post birth abortion fall under the intent to kill or premeditated murder charges? Yes. like I don't even know why somebody would fix their mouth to even say that. It seems like they would just say, I mean, listen.
Well, that's why
it's bad. It's bad when the statement "abort black male babies" is the better alternative.
Yeah, and the first thing that pops in my mind, when I heard abort black male babies, I was like, you gotta have sex with black men in order to abort black male babies. You gotta let them nut in you. So my thing is, so you're essentially saying, because a lot of these dudes don't even be wanting to have your kid. So anyway, and y'all be having them anyway. So a lot of dudes actually pay you to get the abortion, and now you gonna say, oh well, if it's a girl, we're gonna do this. And I'm like, but y'all don't. Here's the thing, y'all don't understand. Like, women kill me with this because it's like, do you not understand? If a black man wants to have a kid, you do realize that if dudes started to catch on that that's what you're doing, they just not gonna have a kid with you. They're gonna get other cultures of black women if they really dead set on having a black kid. Like, you act like you're the only black people that exist, and that's actually something you can leverage folks with. Like, that but in their mind it does. And again, he's right. It does fall in that. And this is another reason why I say to not flag them, because Jada was also saying, why don't we flag them for hate speech? Because I want that hate speech to sing. I want that to fly, because they can't deny it. When people come to us talk about what we saying in comparison to what, and then when you actually play this, I've played this in front of females that I know. These women, one of them actually cried. Some of the stuff they were saying about black men. And I've played Jap. I've played a dude, and they think, a lot of them think Jap is funny. Because but he said that he talked to women like that when they on there, and he don't talk to that if they call in. It's like, oh yeah, I know what that is. Just like how Corey don't usually do that. Corey Holcomb don't be talking reckless to females when he actually interacted with them, unless they get reckless with him. It's a difference. So
you had played the clip on your show of a chick. I forgot what she was saying because I was busy. I think I might have been working out and had earbuds in, so I was like halfway listening, and I think she was going in on all that rhetoric, and like, wasn't it something like her son was like right there next to her in her lap, or I could barely listen, but you know what I'm referring to? Like, what happened right there? Because I hardly was hearing that.
Yeah, what she was saying was black men are slow. Black men are basically got low IQs. They don't produce nothing, all this other stuff. It was two different people. that was being played. The other person I'll put in the back chat. And what's ironic is those two people are beefing with each other. Ironically. And that person that said the black man, the slow black man of this, got 3 baby daddies. One of them she self-admits is a goon. So she knew he was a goon when she got with him. So I mean, and my point is, you know, I'm not saying you're a bad person because you got 3 baby daddies. What I'm saying is, you know, you picked 3 times. You 3 times you chose to have these kids. You know, don't play like, you know, that was an accident. The first one, fine. Second one, maybe. 3 times, it's a pattern. You know, and to have that kind of anger, you know, on because stuff went wrong. I mean, like to where you saying that because it is what it is. Like I said, I call it Arkham Asylum at this point.
Yeah, that's.
But anyway,
that's wild. That's wild.
but to be fair, Bernard, because I don't want ladies to think I'm just collapsing on black women. I've been in this space for a long time. I've never heard of a black woman taking shit on the bed. That's something that's a record. That's a record that white women get to hold.
Oh.
And black women, that's one thing y'all better not try to, you know, beat them in. You better let them have that because that's a record. The fact that got put out there and I'm so public airways, and Amber Heard is not an ugly chick. You cannot say she's retarded. She's not. Somebody says she looks like Iron Board. No, she doesn't. She ain't thick, but she ain't that either. At least not in the front. But you taking the shit on a bed, and then the fact that Johnny Depp even has to verbalize that, like I would be like, like the fact I even got to talk about that, yo, you know, and then the way that they're talking about it too, like because in this trial is very interesting because these attorneys are a trip. I saw a YouTube channel that had 235,000 viewers going over this trial. And the way that these folks are trying to like trip up, you know, Johnny Depp or trip up the people, the witnesses, and Johnny Depp is just playing, you know, having fun with it, which works for him. You know, it's just, and then the way that Amber Heard looks, like she got that nigga, you snitching on me look. The whole time, or even the way she's looking when she's writing down her notes, like she just go put a hit on them. Like she's like, yeah, you gonna get handled. You just don't know it yet. You already done. Like she just got that like look. Like if you dealing with somebody, they like, yo, I didn't think I would have to do this to you. I thought you was one of the few I wouldn't have to get. You know, I wouldn't have to, you know, make change out of you, like getting to look like you. We were cool, but now I'm gonna have to handle you like I handle everybody else. That's the look she got. That kind of squinted eye, like you really snitching. We had a thing where I cuss you out, make you feel like you ain't shit, and you just getting on here. You just go air me out like this. Wait till we get home. I'm gonna beat your ass. That's the look she has, and that shit is funny to me, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, shout out to Captain Cisco. I skipped your super chat. I did scroll by too quick, but I went up and caught it when you just said Bernard and Edward, just reminding us Amber poop in the bed.
Like, oh yeah, so don't say I ain't put that out there because I ain't never heard sisters do that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level of crazy. Like we go back to slash tires and busted windows. Don't shit in my bed.
I mean, you can't accidentally shit. That's an intentional act. That's an intentional act. That's some premeditated shit. Like you don't end it because that ain't something you could be in the moment. Ooh, that ain't like if you hit somebody, like I wish I could have that back instantly. You know, because it could be in a moment. No, that we all know it's human beings.
Yeah, I'm assuming she had to like squat to make sure it don't get on her. So like she got on her feet and like squatted down and like it's a skillful thing to shit in a bed and not get none of it on you. Like so,
and because some of them women when they in the woods, they kind of got to do that in order to do number one. We'll say that. So you already know. Yeah, man. It's like, could you imagine that being your daughter? Like, and being a mom, like, especially whether you white, black, or whatever. As soon as we get in an argument, and I really want to go there, you know that bullet's in the trigger. Now, whether I fire it off, is one thing. But when I say, all right, you know what, I'm done dealing with you. That's why your daughter, you on Johnny Depp? Like, are you serious? That's crazy, man. That's why SBM, they shit in the bed.
JC the Conqueror in the building. He says, my mom loves Jap Real Talk. It was a show about Will and Jada. That's interesting.
I'm telling you, because it be certain black women, Jap be saying what the fuck because a lot of what Jap says sounds like how a lot of the old big mamas would talk to these young females that are really fucking up. Maybe not where men can hear it, but if they talking amongst themselves, I've heard that conversation. When they be really want to go in, women know how to cut deep.
Oh yeah, they do. And E Capone in the building says, I still got 5 on it. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We got GC in the building. What's going on, Game Changer? Mic check 1 2 on Game Changer. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm here. I had to step away for a second, but yeah, I wanted to talk about the woman that Edward was talking about, the one that went to the clinic, or who was talking about post-birth abortion. The thing is that you guys were making an excellent point when you were saying, why don't she raise him better? You see, they've already tried that. They've already tried to raise black men and boys to their design. I'm not going to say better because it's only better for them. And that's what they've been doing for the past couple of generations. They've been raising them to see only fault in themselves and no fault in black women. They've been raising them to, be loyal to black women, to not have any standards or demands from black women. Basically, they have been raising their sons to benefit their future daughter-in-laws. And they've been doing that for quite some time. That's why we had the stepdaddy era, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what they're worried about, and this is why we have this this talk about abortion after the fact, is that that's not working, and the manosphere is proof of that. So they're creating these guys to be simps, to be lambs to the slaughter. They're creating these guys to be suckers for whoever they choose to be their daughter-in-law, to be child support slaves, to be alimony slaves, to be stepdaddies, to be community eunuchs, to be disposable thugs. Whenever she decides to get pissed off at somebody, he throws his life away in quote unquote defense of her. That's no longer being the case. And they realize that in spite of how they raise their kids, there's really not much they can do about that. What they're seeing now is these guys are leaving their template. They're becoming something other than what the mother is raising them to be, because it's not in their best interest to be that. Some of them are going to Becky. Some of them are, just finding pick-me's. Some of them are going overseas. But one thing is for certain, they're all leaving sisterhood women.
Or they're opting out in general.
Yeah, or they're opting out in general. But one thing is for certain, they're not really messing with sisterhood women. And that was the whole point of them being born, was to be gifted to a sisterhood woman.
Yeah, it's really insidious. And when you rope it back into, because I always say the gynocracy is an algorithm. And Shaq is a perfect example of that. I mean, if you look at how Shaq was talking, Shaq was blaming his dad. Look, I'm not saying his dad didn't do anything, but he want to blame his dad. And kudos to his mom for, doing the stepdaddy template and playing her role in that to put them in a position, put them in. Kudos to Shaq to, getting his stuff together. But then Shaq want to blame himself when it comes to Shanice, even though, like I keep saying, the way he got Shanice initially, I think she was married already. She took him from somebody. So you should already know what she was on anyway. Truth be told, he only gave her a moral out. But the reality is Shanice was going to do her own thing regardless. And you see that with other dudes that don't be doing all of that. So she was just one of the earlier ones to really jump on the reality show game. Anyway, the point is, so he blamed his dad. Then because he said, I don't recognize biological fatherhood, even though your whole genetics come from that man. You could not like that man, nigga. You not Shaq. You not Shaq if it wasn't for that dude. Just even if he wasn't there, just off some genetics, and for you to say, and you know what, I'm gonna let Shaq get a pass on that alone, just because he did overly acknowledge his stepfather.
Yeah.
So I'll give him a pass on that, even though, dude, as an asterisk, come on, man, you know your genetics come to. But I give him that because most dudes don't even do that. So
wait, hold on, wait. Did he literally said the words, "I don't acknowledge biological fatherhood," or "I don't acknowledge my biological father"?
We'll say he don't. He said it that I don't believe in that. That's what he said when he was saying, well, you know, what about your biological father? I don't believe in that. My stepdad is my dad because he raised me. That's what he said. So you could go with he was talking about himself, but you also could leave it open ended. But I will assume he's going with he's talking about himself. So he blamed his dad, he blamed himself for the shiny situation, which I get, you take accountability. But at the end of the day, she got with an NBA player. She got stuff she wouldn't have get from nobody else. Let's cut the BS. I mean, Kobe's wife understood what the game was. She may have had him do the walk of shame, but she understood what the game was. So you got that. Then
he had to do that walk of shame.
No, he had to do the walk. That's what I'm saying. He had to do the walk of shame.
He did it with him.
She didn't leave him.
Exactly.
She didn't leave him when she had him. She had him with no prenup, and she could have, and people wanted it to happen. In fact, she gets a lot of flack for not doing that. Then the way he talks about his sons, like his sons are less than, and it's one thing for you to be saying that and you don't really mean it, but you can tell there's stuff behind that, you know, where he really has this belief that like women are just superior. He really believes that. Yeah. And it's like, dude, in the long run, your daughters and your granddaughters, because you ain't always going to be around. Like your daughters, your granddaughters, like you protect your daughters by creating an environment of strong men. Mm-hmm. Honorable men. And if your daughters don't really go into 304 culture, they really ain't got a lot to worry about, because there's plenty of checks and balances on black men doing dumb stuff. Not to mention, you know, him and what he has and assets he has and stuff like that. But this idea that you throwing your sons under, and part of it could be, okay, well, he put his sons in a position so they good with basketball and stuff. But nah, it's deeper than that. Like
I don't even think he. Well, I mean, they're going to be put in some type of position just by fact of being Shaq's son, but it does seem like he's going to leave more of his legacy, wealth, businesses, everything. He's going to leave. It sounds like he's going to leave that to his daughters, and more specifically, he told them. And I didn't even see this part when I did a stream on it. I don't know how I missed it, but he said, "Get with the man that you can control."
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, get with the man. And my thing is, women don't. He said, "Get with a man." It's worse than that. He said, "Get with a man you can respect and mind control." Those three words don't go together. Respect and admire goes together. Control is like oil and water. Like women do not respect and admire what they cannot control. That's why Chinese didn't respect your ass. Real talk.
What they can't control.
Yeah, like the only thing. He
said that they can control.
Yeah.
No. Edward said they cannot. I want to say that they can't control. Like they don't respect the man.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I know. I'm just saying that for the audience.
Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, they don't respect men that they can control. We know that. So the thing about it is, it's kind of like you build this leg and think I want like only an African American man, and yeah, I'm holding that on ADOS, would say that stupid shit. No other dude. Like think about it with the bus folks. Even though technically, just to be fair to Shaq, I've said in the past, and this is an exception, that probably it would have been better giving it to Jeannie Buss first, because she was probably the better business person. But Dr. Buss said, no, I'm giving it to my son first. If he fucks it up, fine. But and that was no question. Only a black man would say Shaq. And that's what I would tell Shaq. I said, with all due respect, Shaq, all due respect, because I'm be looking up at his ass. And so I'm be careful. only an because he's talked about he's learned from people like Bill Gates and investors. Only an African American man would say what you said. I would challenge you to go find me a white man that would say what you said. That you're gonna give it to your daughters, even if it is true that your daughters are smarter. Only an African American man will say what you said.
So
And yeah, go ahead.
So that's what I was saying earlier. See, Shaquille O'Neal represents is what the sisterhood is raising black men to be. They're raising black men to be Shaq, but unfortunately, they're raising themselves to be Kobe, and that's what they don't like. Like
that's why they was happy Kobe died.
Well, in the sisterhood, when a black child is born, it's the mother's goal. It's the single mother's goal to separate that child from the father and then bring in a son, or not. But so she can have sole rearing of that child. Keep in mind, the stepdaddy is optional. If she feels that he's rearing him in a red pill way, or he's trying to get that kid out of the matrix, she could say, "That's not your son. Get out my house." And he say, "But I paid for this house." "Yeah, but it's still mine. Get out." Check the laws. Anyway, they're raising their kids.
I'm about to go grab some, make some coffee real quick. Y'all got it.
Yeah, they're raising the kids to be Shaq, but they're winding up with Kobe. That's what this post-birth abortion talk is about. They want less Kobe's. They want less men that go out and work in their own best interest. Kobe's wife is in his own best interest. It's not in the best interest of the sisterhood for him to do that. It's not, in the best interest of the sisterhood for him to actually believe in patrilineal wealth.
And you can look at, and what's interesting, if you look at and no, he did not, Dr. Butts did not give the business to his daughter. He gave it to his son. His daughter was in the business, but not like in the business, like as ownership. He basically wrecked the fucking shit. And then really, he had to really wreck it. And then they gave it, she got control because everybody knew she was the better person. That's like the one exception. And my thing, as far as who a daughter that should have kind of got it. But he made the decision because that's what you do. The boys are your legacy. And for you not to understand that is insane to me, especially with all the shit. Because if you look at Shaq, and a lot of shit Shaq likes to talk with a lot of other dudes, talk about rings and shit like that, because he won't talk that shit to Michael. He talks that shit who he can get away with it with. But anyway, my point is, if you look at Shaq in comparison to Kobe had none but daughters. Shaq had both. Kobe, and you look, Kobe helped women. He helped the WNBA. He did all of that. But if you look at how the culture viewed Kobe, Hispanics like Kobe more than black folks. I'm talking about the black culture, the ADOS culture. And then you look at how the culture viewed Shaq. And I know Kobe did stuff with snitching and stuff like that. I get that. But my point as far as, pillow talk, but that's small shit in the grand scheme of things. My point is, if you look at that speaks volumes to like how the culture is. Like Kobe was seen as an other, versus Shaq is from Newark, from that street shit. They relate to him. And this is why, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to hop off. This is why one of the things I've learned, black people like talking about fixing shit, but black people really don't want fixed shit. What black people need is somebody to just come around and just kind of sweep everything and tell you what the fuck is going to be. And then y'all fight it. Black people are looking for like a Thanos type of person. That's really what they're looking for. Somebody to come in, unbeatable, finger snap shit. And then they just wallow in it for like a generation or two, but eventually learn how to deal with the shit and improve. Folks are not going to do what they need to do to actually resolve the problem. And when you look at things like Shaq, what he said versus what Kobe was saying, and you look at how black people respond to it as a group, the women, but also the men, man, because even with the Will Smith situation smacking Jada, like Will Smith literally went to India to get away from her, and then she want to follow him. So it's this incestuous, this leech relationship. Like Jada, I'm convinced Jada don't feel good unless Will is feeling bad. I'm convinced of that shit. And this dude is sitting here trying to change her. She likes the fact that Will is trying to change her because that gives her value. If Will would have just leave her, because think about it. and I'm gonna say this, and I am done. If Will would have divorced her like when he should have, like 10 years ago or 5 years ago, nobody would give no goddamn about Jada. Who knows how many roles Jada gets just to create a good relationship with Will, in Hollywood. Nobody would give a fuck about who Jada was if Will would have divorced her. As soon as Will leaves her, ain't nobody inviting her to shit. That red table talk, the only thing she gonna fucking have. And ain't nobody gonna give a fuck about that, truth be told.
Well, Jada, how can I say this? It's not about money to women like this. You got to understand, with Jada, she's third generation sisterhood. Her grandmother taught her how to masturbate so she wouldn't be dependent on men for sexual pleasure. She is third generation, at least, sisterhood.
Yeah.
And the goal for Jada, her role in the sisterhood, what she contributes to the sisterhood, is not money, and it's not getting the bag for herself. What she is contributing for the sisterhood is she has to bring down the image of a man that Black people admired. She would have done the same, believe it or not, she would have done the same thing to Tupac. She wants to bring down a positive Black male image, and that is what she's doing with Will. That is her goal. That is her kamikaze mission, as sent to her from the sisterhood. Yeah, she is a witch.
D said, I can't speak for the race. My take isn't accurate. Yes, it is. Though if I look at the majority rules, the majority rules of Black folks did not like Kobe like that. They really didn't. You may argue people respected Kobe on the court, but Kobe is a person. They thought that was weird. They thought that was other, and they much more related to Shaq. Yes, I can. Stone don't play that. You can't speak for the race. Like I don't.
Well, the thinking of Kobe Bryant is.
I hate when niggas say that dumbass shit because all that is nuh-uh. Go ahead.
Well, I don't really know because I don't follow basketball. I just looked at him as a guy who does what rich and famous guys do. But I didn't.
Look, hold on. Everybody's hold on, game changer. Everybody's upset now. So you see that, Bernard. Bernard.
What are they upset about? I'm just getting back.
I said that Black people more related to Shaq than they did Kobe, like outside of the court.
Yeah, I'm a Kobe fan, and that's true. I mean, Kobe was kind of snobby and distant, and spoke like 3 different languages, and didn't really, like he was cool, but he was.
I'm not saying
he was a different type of guy. Like Shaq was like, Shaq was one of us. Yeah.
I'm not saying Kobe. I'm not
Shaq
saying
is not
Kobe.
one of us.
I didn't say what he's talking about in the greater community. Greater community. I'm not saying.
I never seen Shaq as.
Hold on, game changer. But the thing about it is, y'all are being emotional about it. Yes, Kobe has his fans, but the reality is, Hispanics as a whole group embrace Kobe more than Black people. I'm talking about all of Kobe, not just basketball Kobe. Like, and for y'all, see, this is how I know I'm right, because y'all are just getting emotional. Like, now y'all really trying to Kobe ain't even like in his own hometown, Philly.
He got booed in Philly at the All-Star game.
If you don't and why I get it. I get Kobe was the anti-Iverson. I understand that. And that's really where some of that comes from. But for y'all to try to act like that Kobe, like if y'all had a choice between Kobe and Iverson, I'm talking about beyond basketball. Y'all trying to lead it on basketball. See, these are red pill people saying this shit. This is what I'm talking about. Like I told you, my red pill is 363 degrees. Y'all, when I get into something y'all don't like Fantastic would agree with me. Yes, Kobe has his fans and their staunch fans, but I'm talking about Kobe was embraced by a global community a lot more. He was embraced by his own people.
Well, I'll say this.
Look, low key. Where are you getting this from, fam? Nigga, think. Stop thinking with your heart, because all y'all thinking with your heart. I like Kobe, so other Black people like Kobe too.
That was a basketball fan.
I'm gonna say this that people are moving towards the Kobe way of thinking. Black men are moving more towards the Kobe way of thinking and moving away from the Shaq way of thinking. And that threatens the sisterhood.
Yeah, now I'm a little nigga, according to Al Boogie. See,
yeah.
All right, y'all chill in the chat. Y'all chill.
Yeah.
Right.
Emotional ass niggas.
So they're moving away from the Shaq way of thinking, and they're moving towards the Kobe way of thinking. Now, this threatens their way of life. This threatens the hold that they have on black men, and since black men are the only group of men that they have a hold on through the mother son dynamic that they created, then they're feeling threatened by it. So now they're just like, okay, Operation post birth abortion. Let's instantiate that. Execute Order 66 is what they're, because they're like, okay, let's throw the baby out with the baby now, because we know that 20 years from now he is going to relate to Kobe more than he is Shaq. Nobody is stupid enough to fall for the Shaquille O'Neal thing.
Let me be very clear.
And
yeah.
This isn't.
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
Well, this isn't to say Shaquille O'Neal is particularly stupid, but he is extraordinarily uninformed.
I said this is where the English language. I know Kobe had fans in the black community.
I was one of them. So
that's not what I said, but Bernard is understanding very clearly what I'm talking about. The reality is, from you keep on looking at. I'm talking about take basketball out of it. If you didn't, Kobe not the basketball player. Because that's what y'all are paying. Y'all are looking at just NBA to NBA. I'm looking at it the whole part. Let's be clear here. When Shaq dies, Shaq's not gonna have. I don't believe Shaq's gonna have sisters saying, "I'm glad that nigga dead." Let's be very clear about that. So like that's literally what Kobe had. And yeah, you had a backlash, but y'all act. You see how dudes act like they're acting like I'm not being clear. And they're just completely ignoring. This is what black people do. We ignore certain things and we pick and choose what we want to argue, and we argue the straw man out of it. As far as what Digits is talking about, and Digits is just a hater. For you to say that Kobe's overrated off the court when his money is growing constantly with him being dead, that you're just a hater. That's all that is to what you're saying right now.
Shout out to Indigenous TV. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah, Kobe's only overrated if you rate him extremely high. That's my on the court thing. When people put him
off the court, that you hate.
Yeah.
I mean, Kobe's dead and probably making more money than Shaq.
Yeah. But all right.
Well,
all right. I mean, I don't know why we went. I mean, we went down.
Well, no, the chat room. The chat room brought.
The chat room went down a rabbit hole over one offhanded comment where I just interpreted as Ed was just basically saying Shaq was more of a likable, personable man of the people type.
What
of
I'm
guy.
saying is Shaq is, when you look at the comments Shaq made, Shaq is more in line with what black culture is, and I'm talking about black men and black women.
Okay, no, I thought you were talking. I thought you. Hold on, wait, real quick. I thought you were talking about before that. I mean, well, that comment proves that he is, but before that comment, he was more in line. He was a more touchable, relatable, fun loving guy. I thought you were talking about that.
That's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is he is, but you got to remember, like, the thing about Kobe, like, okay, and this is not to say Shaq doesn't build, but when you actually listen to the stuff, well, if you look at how Kobe was raising his kids on versus what you see what Shaq is doing, I don't see Kobe saying some stupid shit like that. Saying some shit like, if he had a son, my daughters are better than my son. Because honestly, Kobe went through that with his mother and his sisters. So Kobe wouldn't say that shit. But for Shaq to say some goofy shit like that, because remember, Shaq has been through this shit with women. So, but now he want to say all NBA players cheat. So y'all acting like, that gives. No, because he said the reason why Chinese left him is because he didn't protect his marriage because he was sleeping around. All them niggas are fucking around for the most part. So this idea, so if you're getting with an NBA player and you thinking they just gonna be loyal to you, that's bullshit. I mean, I don't care what any female says, and most of these chicks are not like 8s, 9s, and 10s anyway. Shanice is like a upgradable 7 at best at her peak. She's just smart and crafty. So,
So, and that's and I agree with you when you say that Shaq represents the standing black culture. However, it is moving into the Kobe direction. People do prefer Kobe's wife over Shanice because, they both cheated. She's just, far more forgiving, like ridiculously more forgiving than Shaq. And people would prefer Kobe's life as it was lived over Shaq's. And, for obvious reasons. So society, black men, younger black men are moving in the direction of Kobe, and they're moving away from
So
Shaq.
so I
and
want to.
and this is a result of not solely the manosphere, but just brothers being more aware. Shaquille O'Neal, he comes from a generation similar to mine, to where we grew up without the internet. And we so basically people like Shaquille O'Neal, if they had a stepdad or something like that who was cut, so to speak, or he let the woman lead, that was his only male influence. I've seen people grow up in apartment complexes that are, your neighbor is a single mother, and the neighbor's neighbor is a single mother, and there's no male influence. And even if there isn't a male influence that is not attached to a woman, that can't be kicked out of that community. So,
Yep.
even if he was to say, "Hey, brother, you should open your options up and perhaps date a woman like Jenny Ma. Submission is the key to a healthy relationship. Don't let a woman disrespect you. Get a prenup." Once they start hearing stuff like this, they will annex the guy. Now, but with the internet, the young boys can hear stuff like this without having necessarily a guy present. This threatens the sisterhood. They're putting a lot of ideals into the heads of young men, and um, now young men have the opportunity to receive counter ideals. That's why they're extremely threatened by
Yeah,
the direction
and
that black men are going in and going away from. They're going away from the direction. Shaq is in his mid 40s or
well,
something.
I
No,
get
Shaq
that.
is 50.
Yeah, what you
Yeah,
50.
so
talking
Shaq
about?
so Shaq is 50. So, which means that he has an older way of thinking.
Yeah, but I don't like. I kind of understand what you're talking about. I get what you're saying. You're talking about disease are going in a different direction, but sometimes you like simplify stuff to where, because it's a lot of dudes that are on the problem is a lot of the dudes that are producers and the dudes that are sexually valued are going in these different directions outside of women's control, and that's just to get a little bit more specific. As far as what the chat is saying on Kobe, yeah, I remember when Kobe said that he fully was embraced by Hispanics. I actually respected Kobe more for his off the basketball court activities. I like Kobe. Yes, Kobe was an excellent player, but was he? And I like watching him. But was Kobe like my number one back? No, he wasn't. I was a Tracy McGrady person. But I respected Kobe more than all of them. Above all of that was what Kobe was doing off the court, because he was doing that. Like a lot of the template LeBron had was based on just like how I like Magic for what Magic did off the court. Um, and I've alluded to that when everybody wanted to lose their mind about that when I compared that to Michael. So see, that's me. I pay attention to that stuff. Y'all pay attention. Y'all keep on talking about what he did on the court. And as far as indigenous is always trying to act like he better than somebody. So, but that ain't the issue that I have. The issue I have is you all are fans of Kobe and you're trying to act like like if I would ask you a simple question that who did if they were running for president, who at a black community, who you think is more likely to win, Kobe or Shaq? That's what I'm talking about. And if
No,
y'all say
I get
Kobe,
it, but
y'all are full of shit.
well, no, I mean, you're getting caught up in the chat room, Ed.
No, I mean,
Well,
no. I'm not getting
I
caught up.
get it. I get what
It's
you're
all
saying,
of them
but
talking about that. Yeah.
I want to move the conversation away from the chat room
Well, I
because
mean,
it's a,
okay, no, I'm fine with that. As far as moving the conversation, okay, Kobe shit is over. As far as talking about what the women are on,
but what
the
I'm saying
women.
is I'm not saying Kobe shit is over. What I'm saying is disease and the future generations are moving more towards Kobe way of thinking than they are Shaq way of thinking,
Well, they're moving away from black women, and so you got
which is Shaq's way of thinking.
yes,
Let's be clear. Like, I mean, his thinking is nurtured. It was created by black women.
yeah. So
I mean,
yes,
they're the Palpatine. He's the Vader. Like it was the mind control techniques
yes,
of them.
yes. I've said that as far as these chicks are on the clock, because disease are not going to be having the conversations that the millennials are having. Because
So now
even
when you
yeah,
well now when you redirect that to what the woman was saying about about post birth abortions, et cetera, which doesn't really make sense. You know, because you find out its gender before it's born. But When they're the reason why they're talking like that is because they don't know what to do. They're losing their gynocracy, is the way they see it, and they're in panic mode right now.
Well, yeah, a lot of that is, and a lot, and so it's not even so much what the women are saying; it's the fact that the audience that they have with all of that rhetoric, and you know, even like I literally was listening to, and I don't listen to these chicks directly. I listen to it through other dudes. They were talking about the Monica situation, dealing with what's the dude that's in jail, C Murder, and they're trying to make it like C Murder's manipulating Monica. I'm like, yo, she's her circling back. Anyway, the point is with all of that is they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and really in the manosphere, it's really just a matter of how much you all gonna invest in trying to save them. I'm on some. The women are on the team are on the team. The women that are not are not. Whatever, they can be left to their own devices because protection, resources, all that stuff is finite anyway. And what you have is you have dudes that got a savior complex. You like, and this is where Shaq comes in, Will Smith comes in, and even with Johnny Depp, because if you look at why Johnny Depp dealt with that, a lot of these dudes think that these things are past, and they don't, because what these dudes are not calculating is you have. Yeah, these niggas are mad. It's funny. You have basically a whole environment around you that incentivizes women to behave the way that they behave in Hollywood, all of that. You know, and that's what dudes don't really calculate.
So
They do,
I,
yeah.
I agree. I agree. Battle Thug said something interesting. He said, no, they don't have to worry. There are plenty of simps. Yes, there are plenty of simps. Now, there aren't enough simps for the out there for the number of women that seek them, nor are the simps that are available to them actually desired by them. So there aren't enough now, but they're not really thinking about this current generation. Yes, Gen X is a lot of simps. So women in their 40s can go out, even if they're, an overweight single mother with fake hair and all kind of crap on their face, look like you got a dirty monitor. They can still find a simp, provided that, but not all of them, but many of them can. So that is still possible. However, what they're worried about is the future of it. Think about the military. There are plenty of healthy young men that are capable and willing to fight in the U.S. military. However, if poor health and obesity and laziness, if this culture continues to perpetuate, then in the future, there may be a deficit of eligible young fighting men in the next 20 years. Now, well, right quick, Edward. So what they're thinking is if we continue on this trajectory, then their granddaughter will not have a simp available to her. Because keep in mind, simps are made, they're not born. So they have to, and the mechanism to which they make simps is failing.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and I've even heard some of them say something alluding to that, but at the end of the day, that's a personal problem. That's why on my channel, I say it's the official edict of the manosphere that we should promote divestment for anybody that wants it. Yeah, Indigenous loves give. Yeah, I mean, you might as well put it up there and get your money because Indigenous will throw $50 out there just to talk reckless. He loves doing that.
Well, no, I wanted to like squint my eyes and read it first. If he was just mad reckless, I wasn't gonna click on it. I don't care how much it is. I didn't know if y'all like got to that point where he was just.
No, he does that on. He does. He don't just do it with me. He does
I
with
don't know.
Obsidian. He does
Oh,
with
I know,
a lot of dudes.
I know. I know, and I don't mind a little bit of joking or jabbing. But if it was about to get ignorant, I was gonna shut it down. But shout out to Indigenous TV says Ed doesn't understand there is no women on the team dynamic. They're your women on your team. That's all that matters. Shaking my head. Just do you. I barely even understand what he means.
I mean, I understand exactly what he's talking about, but this is the trick bag that black men put themselves in. Black men, even a lot of the square dudes, when they move to the suburbs, they get in this hyper individual mindset. And the problem is you're dealing with folks that they may talk that shit, but that's not how they're operating. They don't operate as individual isolated units. And that's how you're able to be taken advantage of. Another reason why I use the on the team dynamic is to speak to guys that think like that. Because look, everybody's not going to agree with what I'm saying. Everybody doesn't agree with the gynocracy. agree. Everybody doesn't
What
agree.
team is he talking about, though? That's
Well,
what
I'm talking
figure out.
about they are for black men and black women that want to cooperate with each other. Just like how,
well, it doesn't make sense in that regard because he's saying find a cooperative woman and.
Well, what he said. Well, I'm talking about if you a black community where black people don't hate each other, is what I'm talking about. Where people want to talk, people want to move as a group. Because everybody's not on no hyper MGTOW, everybody's not on no gynocracy, everybody's not on that. And so I'm speaking in a language that people understand as far as where I'm coming from, but people that also have that mindset. And so what indigenous is on is you either think like me or F you. I don't think that way, so my stuff isn't going to be targeted to just specific people.
Well, if they think like you, then they would be on the team. I indigenous.
No, he means your team. But what he's saying is the community. Nothing matters except your own outcome. So he's saying the only thing you got to worry about is a woman that's dealing with you. Yes, I understand that, but I'm not talking about an individual situation. In the context of what we're talking about is we're talking about a macro. But this is one of these things where you got
okay, now I get what's going on. Indigenous is doing one of those. I hate when people do that. By the way,
he's only a micro
that whole
nigga.
thing. Yeah, that whole thing where they pretend to not understand that people are giving social commentary on a broad issue, and they try to narrow the focus of it to an individual.
Because he want to make it like, because that's when
wait a minute, baby mama. That doesn't make any sense because the super chat is speaking on a broad issue.
Well, explain.
Well, I mean, to suggest that others don't speak on a broad issue, on a broad platform is speaking on a broad issue.
Well, I mean, I don't go that deep with it. I kind of know the mindset behind when dudes do shit.
I know that very little of it. Like, for example, I don't really watch sports, but I don't go to a sporting event and say y'all really shouldn't be bouncing the ball around or hitting the ball around. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like one of those things is it's like with dudes, you can't talk about NBA. You got to talk about a certain player. And it's like, you got to be able to bounce. Even in the second super chat, which says, SMH, get a woman that vibes with you regardless of race, let that save the Keisha stuff go. I mean, Game Changer.
Okay, he's straw man. And
Game Changer listens to me enough. I know you don't listen to all the stuff I say. You listen to me enough to know that's not my take. My take is exactly what you said. But at the same time, the thing about a lot of shit like y'all, a lot of dudes like y'all is, here's the problem. Just like people are supposed to wear multiple hats. Like you're supposed to be a leader, you're supposed to be a follower. Like you're supposed to be a couple of different things. What a lot of dudes like to do is say, I'm doing me and I'm only doing me. And like anything, I fuck the black community. Like anything, even outside of the people you deal with, even as an American, you're supposed to be able to think about things in multiple vectors. And when people like to sit here and say, I'm doing me and I'm only doing me. Now, when people deal with them in that way, because the people that do that are people that you can be like, oh, when they're useful to the group, use them and then get rid of them because they're not really a part of the group. And you keep on trying to make it sound like I'm on some pro-black, let's come together BS. Every black man is not on the don't deal with black women BS stuff. Everybody's not on that. So what he's really talking is some hyper SYSBM stuff. And I'm like, dude, everybody ain't SYSBM.
Well, it's not even the problem that he's talking about some SYSBM stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The problem is that for whatever reason, he's trying to make it seem as if you said, and I don't think you said it, but he's trying to make it seem as if you said that get with Keisha, make it work with Keisha, make it work with a black woman at all costs, regardless.
That is completely diametric to the platform I've put out.
Exactly. It's like so that's the bull that I hate.
And indigenous
it's a team of people that be lurking around this space where they make it a point to come in somebody's chat room and pretend like the person is saying something that they know that person is not saying. Then they embolden other people to think that person is saying that. And now you got a chat room full of people responding to an argument that you never made.
Yeah, because he's done that on other platforms with
shout out to the ringleader of that. I ain't even about to say his name.
Because he always want to mention Dennis, Obsidian, and Kevin. Like, so it's like this group, this like the save them at all costs group, and there's certain people like, and it's simple mindedness. That's all that is.
Yeah.
It's simple mindedness. People want to be simple minded. That's all that shit is. And then we put a lot of energy into it, and but it's simple mindedness.
Nah, I done got to the point where I just get rid of people like that.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I love pushback. I like a good argument. I like a good debate. But when
I
somebody
don't like bad faith arguments.
exactly, they coming in on that junk. After so much of that, it's a
And you
wrap.
could tell, and I appreciate the super chats, but you can tell he really believes it because he's super chatting and like it's on some like that's like we know, you like you said, the ringleader of that. We know, and see the thing about that, which is ironically, is the folks that are really running that, them motherfuckers are beefing with each other because of the fuck shit that's going on internally with that. And that actually has something to do with the statement that I was making. Because Red Supreme was the one is where I got the situation was that I was listening to Red Supreme. And the stuff that I was playing, that shit I couldn't hear no more of that bullshit. That's how crazy that shit was getting. And I said, let me take this time and actually play this so people can understand this is what this shit sounds like versus what y'all keep saying we doing. Like, and that's what I played it because I don't often play that on my channel.
Yeah. All right. Shit, I forgot where, and he successfully threw us off too.
Not really. I mean, honestly, what the topic is about, the original topic is about lying on Hollywood. When I came on, you were talking about, what you wanted, and I never got around to this. You wanted me to talk about, what was on Judge Joe Brown with Ike and Tina thing. I addressed that part because that's when I originally heard the video because I was really talking shit about Dana in the chat. Cause I just don't like, cause she's a chameleon, yo, and she do a lot of that conservative matriarch shit that really gets on my fucking nerves. So, and I don't like that really Judge Joe Brown gives her a lot of like free clout and credibility.
Oh, see, I said earlier in the stream, I don't know that much about the real Dana. I did give her a slight nod in that, hey, she got Judge Joe Brown on her show as a regular.
I've had conversations with her and Shannon. She's a matriarch.
I kind of gathered that just from when I listened to this whole clip. I can just see how she addressed the men that it was.
She one of these northeastern. She's one of the thing about the archetype she is, and I'm not about to throw her completely under, but
no, we can't because we used her content today. Fair use.
Well, what I'm saying, well, the thing about it is she's one of these chicks that she will say, I'm not like the liberals, but like I'm not liberal, which means I'm not for the gay shit, I'm not for the crazy shit. Cool. But when it comes to this gynocracy shit, oh, she's on the team with that shit. She's somebody that would be in common company with Shaq.
Yeah.
Common company. She strikes me as the chick that she strikes me as her kid would be if he grew up to be a Shaq to feed into what Game Changer's been talking about. Like the mentality Shaq has would be a welcome mentality, something that she would want to grow in a dude. And because what she does is when she doesn't like what you're saying, she starts mommying folks. And I'm 35, she's her age, but when she starts doing that to dudes that are her age, I mean, really, she needs somebody to cuss her ass out and put her in her fucking place. Like, really. Because people be trying to be nice because she's older, but she be getting on that Northeastern and, I know everything. I'm the expert. I got a degree in being a black woman. So that means I know more than y'all. That's what it is. Whenever they talk about their degrees, that's really what it is. I outrank you because I'm a black female.
Sodomy and Chicken says something interesting that I do want to get into. He said, how do y'all feel about Six of Goddess lately? I vaguely know about her her little situation, and I don't got that much to say about it. I heard she had some little something.
Y'all know how I feel about Six of Goddess. Six of Goddess is getting exposed though, because she tried to say chaotic truth. Which let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Bernard. What do you think about the phrase verbal sexual assault?
I don't think it's a thing until if somebody makes it clear that they don't like your verbal advances, and you keep if you're making okay, let me just explain it like this. You're allowed to make a verbal sexual advance. If she declines it and you keep coming back, then it can get to the point of verbal sexual harassment. but you can't knock a guy for making the initial attempt.
So what about
that's where I'm
so
at with
basically, so you know who Chaotic Truth is.
Oh yeah, I've
So-
had him on my show plenty of times.
Basically,
Yeah.
her and Chaotic Truth got into an argument, and Chaotic Truth basically cussed her out. I mean, he went full nigga,
See, I didn't know that.
because he didn't like the fact that she asked him if he was ADOS or not. To be fair to Six walked into that because of a lot of disrespect he had to deal with. It had nothing to do with her. But then basically she said that she feels unsafe. This is on the Peep Network. She feels unsafe because he went off on her. That's all he did. And he went off. He looked goofy. And she was, by the way, roasting him while he was going off on her. And she did a 5-hour live stream. Q Butter went up there too, and which she's talking about he verbally sexually assaulted her, and the dudes on the Lapeef didn't do shit. Now he did not make an advance at her. He basically said, "I'm tired of you niggas and this nigga shit." With y'all blame basically going on like something that like hood conservative, if he wanted to really tell y'all about yourselves, would say, "I'm tired of y'all blaming racism for y'all own fuck shit and blase." And then they basically they pulled the ADOS, not ADOS card, and he was on some, I'm not dealing with that bullshit. Now, keep in mind, he's 5 hours, 6 hours into this conversation, and he had been massively disrespected by some of the ladies on that show, and they let that rock. So they let him get it off because they let him take it. So, and then she was in her feelings. That here's what makes it real bad. Shout out to Logic. Actually, shout out to Chicago Gorilla too. But Logic, basically, when she said that, Logic called out that Me Too thing like maybe 25 minutes after this happened a couple weeks ago. He called that out, saying, she really came up here and basically accused, because I think Chaotic Truth is married, accused him of basically, he didn't try to holler at her or anything. He didn't even refer to any of her history or anything.
What exactly did he say?
He said, what came up is they were having a conversation about like black people, basically ADOS accountability versus racism. And she came in there and she asked, is he ADOS or not ADOS? And he categorically refused to answer that question because on the grounds of people always asking him that and it's not relevant. It is relevant. But so I don't fault her for that. And then he went off on her. And that's basically what it was. He wasn't even jumping on her per se, and he actually didn't even have a personal issue with her. What he said.
Why does this don't sound like it had nothing to do with any verbal sexual assault? So why was that?
No, it wasn't, because she didn't like the fact, because what she was saying was that she was not safe because he was cussing at her in he wasn't even cussing like that. He was getting real animated in a virtual. A virtual environment. So she wanted to say, I don't feel safe. So AKA Anton, JR, Chicago Real, and Logic need to regulate Chaotic Truth. That's really, she didn't say it like that. She said that on her other stream, but that's what she was alluding to. So she kept on sending signals saying, I don't feel safe. And
I thought something was said about some underwear. That's what KD just said in the chat. That's why
he said, what color your underwear? So I just want to point out. I didn't hear
that part.
Yeah. When she was saying, "Don't get your tighty whities in a bunch," so she.
Okay, go ahead, Game Changer. Go ahead. Hold on, let me.
Say that, Game Changer.
She mentioned his underwear and the color, and then he said, "Well, what color your underwear?" And she said that was verbal sexual assault. That she gave to him.
Yeah,
but I want to point out something.
Hold on. That's important, man, because that's one of the things she said. She said, "Don't get your tighty whities in a bunch," because he got mad at the question she asked, and then he basically did that retort. I mean, it had no sexual context to it. He was like, "If you worry about my draws, let me ask you something." And so go ahead, Game Changer, because I know I've been talking.
No, so and he is what I'm talking about. Like situations like this, and the panel, Anton, Chicago Rilla, and the rest, they represent a new generation of black men, or a new thinking black men that people like Six aren't prepared for, because she's prepared. If that was a panel full of guys like Shaq, then the conversation would have went different. Then everybody would have just checked her like he just slapped her with his penis or some crap like that. Like everybody would have just assaulted, verbally him. Now, I do want to point out that there really isn't a such thing as verbal assault. Looking up the definition of assault, and I'll read it. Hold on. assault, verb, make a physical attack on, keyword physical, noun, a physical attack. He pled, and here's the verb example. He pled guilty to assaulting a police officer. Noun, his imprisonment for an assault on the film director. So, yeah, the key word being physical. There's no such thing as a verbal assault.
Well, I think it could turn into harassment. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah,
If
harassment is
you,
different.
yeah, okay,
Harassment is
so fair
different,
enough,
and harassment implies a repetition.
Exactly.
Basic.
So she could claim sexual harassment, but it wouldn't be that if unless he continuously said, "What color are your drawers?" And
Yeah.
even then,
Yeah.
it's questionable because it's like
she don't have grounds. She don't have grounds at all to say anybody verbally. She don't have grounds at all to say anybody verbally sexually harassed her. She made a comment about his. If it happened the way I saying, she made a comment about his drawers, and to say a man got on tighty whities. I mean, you taking a jab at him. You're basically calling a grown man a boy, telling him he wear little boy drawers.
No, that was and that was the tonality of it.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, him saying something about her panties is allowed. I don't care what nobody says.
And the thing about it is she know because she said it was a joke after the fact. It's not the tighty whitey thing, but or whatever. And then she went and did a 5-hour tirade, basically throwing the Lapiv network under the bus. Because the thing about it is a lot of them agree. A lot of them agree with like chaotic truth's philosophy. I mean, as far as hood conservatives as well, as far as like the way their worldview. Courtney does, Anton does, Logic does. So what Six did was walk into that conversation thinking they on some pro-black. They're not anti-black, but on some pro-black. Ado's first Tariq Nasheed shit. And it wasn't that. So they let Chaotic Truth get off what he wanted to get off. And then the cop that was on here before was on there later. And he's been doing videos on Six breaking it down. But the thing about it is she kind of exposed herself as being a real chameleon. Because the fact
I like Nathan, but I think he been jumping out the window. I heard him on Chantel stuff a few times.
She called the thing about
he been jumping out the window with I ain't gonna say happy. I ain't gonna go there. I like Nathan.
That's your people, man. Yeah, y'all be with that world. That racism is a figment of people's imagination. Shit. So that's your people,
no. The window he jumped out of. He I don't know. He was misrepresented. I just outside looking in the parts that I seen, it looked like he may have was kind of misrepresenting other people's arguments, and I don't know. It was almost on some pander simp sounding stuff, but I ain't going there. I ain't going there because I didn't watch the whole thing.
No, I'm not.
I like that. And hold on real quick. What I just want to say this: I did a 1-on-1 with him, so I respect the brother. Me and him had a good conversation. So I want to throw him under the bus. But yeah, it looked like he been jumping out the window a little bit.
Game Changer's about to back it up.
Well, no. Here's the thing, and this isn't about throwing him under the bus. If we're going to speak on potential female chameleons, and that would be Six the Goddess, a person who's pretending to have male best interests at heart, but really they have a different goal. That people are saying that she may be a female chameleon. We also have to look in who could potentially be a male chameleon. So, I do suspect a strong possibility that Nathan is that. Just from the rhetoric that we hear. Now, one pattern of behavior that we can highlight when sussing out a potential male chameleon is, does he put all the arguments back on the men?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That is one key behavior that they do. So if you say something like Edward was just saying before, like the post-birth abortion talk, does somebody like that say, yeah, but what about the men?
No, he's smart.
But he's not that smart because he does sound like that.
Well, what I'm saying is he wouldn't like something that direct, and I don't listen to a lot of them, but this is what I will. You're right, but this is what I will say. What I've observed about Nathan, this is what I would say to him directly is when he's a cop. So he'll try to talk about, he tends to try to avoid single mother accountability. He'll try to do the father. He try to talk around it. Father's not in the home. These kids are out of control. He makes the women seem like they're just a victim of circumstance, and not their sexual selection creates the problem that they're complaining about. He never wants to go there. And I noticed that when he was interviewing you, and if you got to almost push him to it. And when he's on other platforms that I have heard him from, and so he's somebody. That's the issue I have with what he says. And so yeah, he'll try to say, oh well, look, I'm checking Six the Goddess. I'm doing videos with her because he put out her government name, real talk, in the title. I'm like, damn, nigga.
Whoa, he did?
Yeah, I didn't know what her name was until he said it.
That's messed up.
Yeah, apparently he didn't like the fact she called him a Jamaican cop, and he was like, so he said, "I'm safety off." Yeah, he's done 3 videos with it, and I think he refers to her as.
So now that changes things. So they were saying, so he wasn't going in on her on principle. It sounded like you're saying he was going in on her on personal, and the thing
exactly
that the person he got a personal problem with, just so happened to do some bullshit. So let me highlight her.
Well,
bullshit.
Chaotic Truth was a different situation because they think because he came on after the fact. Yeah, he came on after the fact when stuff had calmed down. Now I didn't really pay attention to what specifically he said, and then she came back, and then whatever happened is he did videos up to a couple of days ago because it came through my feed. I don't be looking for this dumb shit.
Hey, whoa, hold on, y'all. We don't do that here. I see names in the chat. Do not put her name in the chat room. I don't care if it's out there. I don't care if it's already doxed. We don't do the shit here. I don't care if it's out there. Her YouTube name, if her YouTube name is Six the Goddess,
that's what
she is to be referred to as Six the Goddess over here. All right?
Or Six if you refuse
or
to say the Goddess.
If you don't want to call her Goddess, yeah, Six.
That's a lot. Yeah, see, y'all niggas, and dude, literally, I gotta be telling dudes up front, if you put these motherfuckers' names in here, you will be de-wrenched, and you will be declawed, and you will be blocked. Like, you almost got to say that up front, because dudes be really out here doing that. But anyway, but yeah, so he was trying to say she was a narcissist, all that. But as far as Nathan, and the difference with dudes and the chameleon stuff is dudes can't move around like that. Like, dudes are going to be directly confronted eventually, as far as on a panel, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Women, because dudes ain't really trying to go with women like that, they kind of get a little bit more latitude, so you got to pay attention to it more. But like with men can't really navigate that way because it's somebody that's going to jump on. It don't matter if you real. Somebody's going to try to check your ass, or the audience is going to try to look. Niggas try to check me. You're going to get checked. What they call it when you pat people down? You're getting patted. You're getting frisked in this, verbally frisked and checked and double checked in this space all the time. That's part of when I was telling Jada, I was like, we have internal mechanisms that are like natural ecosystem mechanisms. Like, even when people beef with each other and shit, even like Obsidian, Angry Man, whoever, I ain't talking about doxing. I'm just talking about like with people's talking points. You know, even right now, we got people with Kevin that I'm going back and forth, not bad, but with people talking about Kevin's telling dudes to get married in 6 months, which I'm saying I haven't heard him say that, but I'm open to people showing me a clip. And he said you can get married in 6 months, not you should. But
yeah, I heard him speak on that a lot. People are over exaggerating it, but they not completely wrong. He say in 6 months you should know if you want to marry a woman, or you should know you got all the information you need in 6 months. Basically, it's something along the lines of that, like to where like in 6 months you can. Yeah, he supports engagement at 6 months. Like somebody could be together a year and a half. He like, why y'all not engaged? It's like, no, I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know? So they ain't tripping. They ain't tripping for that. That's one of the few things that I got some major disagreement with him on, because like I always said, and I don't talk about the whole high value thing. It was good when it was a viral meme and you could put it in the title and get views, but whatever. But if just per what he says, if it takes 5 years for somebody to establish that they a high value man, they got to make that amount of money for 5 years. Well, goddamn it, she need to show 5 years of good behavior. before I
To
can
be
accept
to be
that
fair,
she
Angry
is.
Man said that. To be straight up, Angry Man said that shit. Angry Man was like, because you gotta know you can trust these motherfuckers, and apparently Angry Man is living
I
that
agree.
example too
I
with his
agree.
current situation. So I will give him that.
I agree.
Because yeah. So my point is, there's internal regulations on that. No matter who you are. See, that ain't like how it is really with the women until the women start really going off on each other, and that don't always happen. So, but when they come in here, they get levity when it comes to their bullshit. I mean, that's why they don't like Game Changer, because Game Changer is like a fucking referee when you're on when y'all doing the female panels and he's blowing the whistle all the time on their ass. They don't like that shit,
I love it.
especially your neck.
I love it though.
You know, yeah. So, but so because they're not used to that, they're used to being able to get it off, and then you just don't break down the shit that they say is stupid and just let it go because they're women. And then if you don't, you're a patriarch misogynist. Game Changer, correct me if that's a mischaracterization of what he does on this. So,
No, I have done that, but I mean, as far I wanted to
you should get a
talk.
whistle.
Well, I do want to talk more on the six thing because yeah, it's a lot going on there. What I noticed when I didn't hear the whole thing, but what I noticed Six was doing on the Lapeep thing was she really was hitting everybody with a broad brush.
Yes.
And she created a lot of enemies that she didn't necessarily want to create. Um, she said something about kappas. She was like, "Oh, he looks like he's a kappa, and they're the most feminine, or they're the weakest of all the fraternities, or something like that." So which is shout out to the noobs. But I'm just saying, it's like, what did they do to you? So no, that being the case, because she has that pattern of behavior, that's why she finds herself at odds with people like Chantel and Nathan, who
Oh,
are
she
Jamaican.
is? I didn't know she was at yeah, because okay.
Well, Chantel is Jamaican, so it would make sense that she would be.
I mean, we got a lot of Jamaicans in this space. I mean, I get what you're saying.
The point is that when she insulted Jamaicans, just like she insulted.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. What
my point is that she's Nathan's enemy for that reason.
Do you know what she said with the Jamaican thing? Because that part I ain't hear.
Well, you said that she called him a Jamaican cop.
Well, basically saying like you a cop, but like because it was on some, you 12, fuck 12, and on some ADOS thing. I thought like how you Jamaican and a cop, on that. That's I gotta hear what she said, but as far as the other stuff you were talking about, she did use those words, but I gotta hear the context, and that's what he said too on his thing. So it stuck with him. How you gonna call me a Jamaican cop? He said that on his other stuff way after the fact. But the thing about Six is shallow as fuck. Six is on some, if you don't look good and you don't fit the stereotypical what I think a man needs to look like as far as 6 foot, 6-pack, all that other bullshit, you might as well not even fucking be alive. And that is her go-to. That's really what she be fucking up. That's her go-to when she gets mad. So what she wants to do is she's very quick to emasculate and belittle people. She tried to do it to Obsidian. She's very quick to do that whenever argument doesn't go her way, and it's childish, and it's not likable to kind of what you're saying, Gang Changer. But see, what she extra messes up is this is where y'all need to stop listening to Reed Nasheed and y'all buy into the ADOS stuff too hard. I'm ADOS. The way I look at ADOS is it's a way of separating our cultural issues versus others because we have unique problems, and I give a fuck about fixing our problems. It's not really about isolating things. Now, I might have asked Chaotic Truth that same question, but the difference is that I can break that shit down without asking this question. She just wanted to invalidate everything he's saying, and what she tried to do was turn everybody against him, but not understand that there's most of them believe in his philosophy. They just don't go about it in the same way they go about it, So she didn't read the room, and then when she doesn't get her way, she do what a lot of these chicks do is let everything fly at their mouth, and she thinks she can lean on the fact that I'm attractive, so just go with it. And I'm like, no, that shit ain't the be all end all because everybody ain't giving a fuck about what the fuck you look like. Not on YouTube. That's what Instagram's for, which is why she's got a bigger Instagram than she does a YouTube. Her YouTube ain't growing like that. Because when she got something to say, Don't nobody give as much of a fuck. But I mean, she bigger than me, but still. Yeah.
Right on. Shout out. I saw Ike in the chat. Drop Ike's channel in the chat room. Shout out to Ike. Did a good one-on-one on
Don't
him
drop
yesterday.
Ike's thing in the thing. He's not Ados.
Right. He's Nigerian and albino. He definitely not invited to the cookout. But anyway.
Yeah, like I hate when people, because you're number one, people are misusing that. And they're Clutch talked about that. They're
Well, hold on,
using
real
it as a
quick. I did want to
thing.
shout out Lil Big Nate. Lil Big Nate gonna be over here yesterday. Email me about the specific details about what we're talking about, by the way, Nate. But shout out to Nate. Yeah, I'll be looking for that email. What else? What was I going with? I had
Ike pays the non-ADOS tax, so he's cool. Now I'm playing.
right. Shout out to Sodomy and Chickens. Johnny Depp and Will Smith would have been better off if they had Cam Newton standards. I don't even know what he mean by that, because I mean Cam Newton is saying like good things and all that, but he's still
I'm watching all these athletes now because Cam Newton's on an apology tour too.
Yeah. I noticed he did a little video where he had his bangs pinned up, and he was basically trying to walk it back, or he was saying it was almost like I said what I said, but, and then he gave a long but, and I was like, oh, okay,
yeah, it's the same thing with Future.
You can't stand on it.
I'm telling, here's the thing, they're having Nick Cannon moments, like where Nick Cannon said what he said about the small hat people, and he forgot. So he forgot where he was at, and that's what a lot of these dudes be doing. And I get it, because what I think is going on is a lot of their entourage or the people around them be listening to what we be saying and probably be feeding some of them the stuff, and then they get a little bit too comfortable, and then they start verbalizing it because you got to put people forget about Cam. Cam said the dudes need to start acting like men again first. Then he said the other thing, but see, they completely didn't show that, because they wanted to set Cam up, because they always after Cam, but you know how it is.
Yeah. Now, one thing I want to get into. Well, first, Sir Tyson in the building super chat says Bernie Gale, your admin, featured a great video on her channel about this. Six was in full gaslighting mode. Yeah, I mean, I might watch it. I mean, part of me don't care. I mean, I'd be casually interested when shit go down, but I don't go deep diving into it that much unless it just pop up on my timeline and it's a short video. Like if somebody can package all the highlights in 8 minutes, I do like the tea enough to watch an 8-minute video on it, but I can't do a 2-3 hour live stream just to get the tea like that.
Yeah, that's why that Manosphere highlights channel is so big.
Yeah, I'm petty enough to watch a 5 to 8 minute video to get the tea, but not a 3 hour live stream. But all right,
Entertainment Tonight style.
Yeah. But damn. This is what I wanted. I didn't do a stream on this. I wanted to, but I didn't get around to it. But we got to talk about this. Future, the serial impregnating, community semen slinging, called more women bitches and hoes than probably Snoop Dogg. Well, he ain't putting up Snoop Dogg numbers, but he up there. He trying to separate himself from Kevin Samuels. Make that make sense.
I mean, it makes absolutely sense if you understand. I'm sorry, Bernard. It makes absolutely sense if you understand the gynocracy. The gynocracy. Kevin is like a Sith Lord or a potential Sith Lord when it comes to the gynocracy, versus Future is somebody that's a part of the plan. Dudes that have kids by multiple women, that's valued in the, as much as black women like to talk shit about it, it's valued. Plus, Future's a trick. People forget that. But women, he is like, what did Game Changer say earlier? He said, having babies for the sisterhood. He is a part of the sisterhood. They may complain about it, but he's a part of the system. Future fucked with somebody that is not a part of the system as they see it. And so there was real consequences to that. So he's trying to protect his money. I get what he's saying. All he's doing is protect his money. The damage is already done. By him putting him in that video, you already validated Kevin on top of the Nikki situation. So, but and honestly,
we gotta let it sink in though, that basically all the stuff that Future is doing and some of the stuff he rap about to some degree, those behaviors, or the if you break down really into the pathology of what the women are doing, even though Future is talking about it from a, and I don't listen to Future that much, but I'm just assuming, you talk about it more from a, he partying, he having fun, he getting it in with these chicks type of way. Kevin Samuels is breaking down the psyche and what's wrong with their behavior.
Future is a patron saint of fuckboyism.
Exactly. So it is an interesting dynamic to where you could be on some Future stuff and you could benefit from the chaos and or live in it, and you okay with them. And you got to separate yourself from the person who's talking about who's talking to them about what's wrong with their behavior. That person is toxic. But the one who's out there, who's the goddamn ringleader, that's not toxic.
Because Future represents the
throw
extension of their chaos.
I get it. I want to go to Game Changer on that. Go ahead.
So basically, Ed is right. He does represent the extension of their chaos, but you got to think that Future represents what they want black men to be.
Yep.
Future has no problems with letting a woman eat off of him, or as many women as he can afford. No matter what, all of those baby mamas did financially benefit off of him. Kevin Samuels, it doesn't really represent that. Kevin Samuels is a worst case scenario because he's saying that men should have standards. That is the antithesis of what they want. See, here's the thing. Black women don't mind being called bitches. They don't mind being called shit as long as you're trying to fuck them. That song, "You Ain't Nothing But a Hoochie Mama," they will shake their ass to that song and gleefully be like, yeah, you ain't nothing but the song that says you ain't nothing but a hoochie mama. You're nothing more than that. They're okay with that. A Bitch Is a Bitch by Ice Cube. Women bought that in droves. They don't mind being called bitches. Like Too Short. Bitch. That was jumping.
Here's the funny part though. During the Average at Best video, they made it was I have so many videos. They was like, oh, he called her a broad, which is like a diet version of the word bitch. It's like that's where it is hypocrisy. I mean, y'all are right in y'all analysis, but they don't see how much it exposes them. The mere fact that Future has to separate himself from the person who's correcting your bad behavior. The person who's serial impregnating y'all and calling y'all bitches and hoes is less toxic than the person who's calling y'all out on y'all bullshit. Like
Future is what they want him to be. First of all,
you're right, but the irony is just killing me, man.
Well, for one, he's a boogeyman. So they can always be like, no, black men are like Future. They're like Future. So they're going to let Future rock. So they can have him as that boogeyman. They can have him as that, serial impregnator. This is why we are the way we are. And he don't mind playing that role. So that's one thing that they like about him. Two, he adds sexual value to them, by seeking them out for sexual purposes or even reducing them to a sexual value. He's saying that they are at least valuable sexually. Kevin Samuels' message, which is very similar to mine, is that the vast majority of you don't even have any fucking sexual value. That is, a message that they can't deal with. Basically saying, or even more accurately for Kevin, I would say the vast majority don't have any sexual value. But what Kevin is doing is he's saying, okay, women have sexual value, but some are more valuable than others. As opposed to others who would just say that women have equal value because they all have a vagina. Like Lizzo's value is the same as Rihanna's because they both have a vagina. So they don't want this new message out. They don't want men to start to evaluate a woman's value.
Game changer. A woman could be, facially a 9 and in real good shape and take care of herself and eat healthy. That don't mean her pussy ain't better than a fat, overweight woman.
Yes, it is.
I'm just playing.
It is.
I heard that argument. I recently
Yeah.
heard that argument.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know who made that argument, but no, it's significantly better. Now, this isn't pleasing to hear.
Do it feel? It don't feel better though.
Yeah, it's not pleasing to hear for women, and that's why Kevin Samuels is probably less liked by black women than Future, who is more. And I don't really listen to his music, but I'm pretty sure that he's more of the a bitch is a bitch variety. Even though his mating practices tend to seem to be in the top tier. Now, it does reflect that he understands that some vagina is worth more than others. However, he won't say it openly. you know I'm willing to bet that Future, and trust me, I know very little about him, his music or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't
But
really rock with his music. I mean, I can't say I don't like it because I haven't listened to it, but the little bit, I mean, it just sounds like just standard, modern, I don't know. He sound all the newer rappers sound sort of the same. I don't know. I sound like the old person saying "get off my lawn." So that's why I don't even try to talk about rap that much because I don't keep up with all the new rappers look like gremlins and they sound the same. But anyway, Al Boogie is saying Future equals Danica Marie. What do you think he means by that? And Al Boogie, after we Game Changer speculate on what he thinks you mean, I want you to further explain what you mean by that. And shout out to, I think, Aaron putting Game Changer channel in the chat room. In the unlikely event that you're not subscribed to Game Changer, make sure you go subscribe to Game Changer. And she's dropping the website for the Mumia Obsidian Ali experience, blackmanosphere.events. Go to that website, check it out and everything. But all right, cool.
I don't listen to Future's music, so I don't know. I don't know what he has in common, being a serial impregnator.
But I was about to say you socially yeah, I was about to say you socially and culturally understand what Future is and especially pertaining to this space, and what Danica Marie is in respect to this space. So I was trying to see how do those two connect? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
No, I don't see the connection. I mean, perhaps does Future have a lot of tattoos or something? Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't see any connection at all.
He got a crown tattoo on his chest.
Oh, okay. I mean, like, well, is he vegan?
He got jump roping.
I honestly don't think
this video of him jump roping on his YouTube channel.
I don't know. I do not know that. Hold on right quick.
All right, here we go. We got it. Al Boogie is coming back. He telling these broads what they like to hear, just like she is. You niggas are drunk. Okay, 1, we ain't drunk. 2, I kind of get the okay. A fair comparison that I could go with you on is if you would have said Danica Marie is Derek Jackson. I don't think Future is telling chicks what they like to hear. I don't think he's doing that. He telling them, if I understand his music, he ain't telling them what they like to hear. He telling them whatever the hell he want, and they with it. That's how I generally understand a rapper who's calling women bitches and hoes. He ain't telling them what they want to hear. He telling them what the fuck he want, and they down with it.
I mean,
so he wouldn't qualify. That wouldn't make him like Future. Now you could make a case that the female YouTuber who has a majority male audience and says things that are pleasing to the ear of men, she's probably she's just telling them what they want to hear in a similar way to that, the Derek Jackson types are to have an audience full of women are telling them what they want to hear. You can connect the dots there. But go ahead, GC. And before you go, shout out to Mind of Spiffy, just showing support. Yeah, I got timed out. You had dropped somebody's name in the chat. You didn't know. We don't do that here. We don't drop government names in the chat, even though it was already out there. But no, we don't do that here. But no, it was no disrespect on that. It's just the quickest way I can get rid of something is timing it out. So I wouldn't like kicking you from the channel. I just was getting that the hell up out of here. But no, yeah, that's something we don't do here, people. We don't do that. Yeah, I don't believe in that. But all right, go ahead, GC.
No, we were talking about Future. No, I like I said, I don't listen to his music. If there's something in his music that you can say that he's pandering to women in similar fashion that Danica is pandering to men, or that you feel that Danica is pandering to men, then I haven't listened to his music to make that correlation. So
Well,
I'll just take your word.
what I said to that, I think was pretty solid. Future ain't pandering to women in his music. He ain't telling them what they want to hear. He telling them what the hell
Yeah.
they want, and they with it. So
Well,
that's
no,
why you
I'm just saying I can't co-sign because I don't listen to his music.
Yeah, we can make assumptions. And just for the record, well, he says LMAO. No wonder Shorty making money off some of you ninjas. Just for the record, I've never sent her a penny, and I don't be over there listening. I really don't listen to female content creators like that. So don't throw it out there like I'm necessarily that dude. GC gives him more support, but because for his reasons, and they support him. And so I mean that's that's that.
If I have
yeah.
to guess, I think she's giving me more money than I her. But
and vice versa. She's super chatted me. I've never super chatted her. She super chatted me a couple times.
Yeah, so that's a
I'm
very
petty.
thing
Hold
to
on, real quick. I'm
say.
sorry. I'm cutting you off a lot, but I am petty enough to keep all the women in this space. I'm up when it comes to how much they've given me versus how much I've given them. But anyway, I'm petty enough to keep track. But anyway, Osama doing the building. He said his our GC and Ed going to the old man event. Game Changer might go. I don't even. Yeah, I can see Game Changer. Yeah. Show up, Game
Why would
Changer.
you see me going? I mean, because Ed's closer. No, I'm not saying I have anything against the event, but Ed's closer. But he's much closer.
I know Ed's not going because Ed said he ain't going to no events. He said he's a YouTubian and he don't care to see none of y'all, none of us in person. And you have made public appearances at stuff, so there's that.
Oh, I see what you mean. No, I didn't know that Ed was staunch against it. Chances are no. It's far, and I'll just leave it at that. For me, it's just far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll say this. When I do see people abroad, I've met YouTubers outside of California. There's always another reason that I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have family in that area, and this includes male and female. There's always another reason that I'm there. I might have family in that area, or I was there on vacation for another reason, or I actually met one at a work function when I was in town for work. That's pretty much it. I don't have business in Philly other than that. There's nothing in Philly for me other than that, so I probably won't be going.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I do want to. I've already met Ike. I do want to meet Theo, but we could talk virtually.
Right on. Yeah, right on. Yeah, see, Ed, this is confirmed. I wasn't tripping. Ed said that about the first Black Manosphere meetup. He was like, I'm a YouTubian. He ain't coming.
No, I did want to go to that, actually, even though I had no other reason to be in Florida. I did want to go to that, but it came during the holiday season, and that November, I already taken 3 plane rides, and I didn't want to do like a 4th.
Yeah. Well, you got family in Texas, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I think there will be an event in Texas in November or December.
What part of Texas?
Nate, tell us. Where's it going to be at, Nate? I mean, let us know. And then, so I don't know, that'll give you a little added bonus of convenience.
It would
give you a little added bonus of convenience, so we can get Game Changer properly doxed. I'm just playing. But,
so somebody said I don't spend my money on anything Obsidian ever. Why is that? What do you mean?
I don't care.
I mean, are you like boycott? Because I don't want that thinking to like I watch this stuff for free, but I don't spend money. Like, is that just like out of spite, or I'm curious to know what brought that mentality.
Hey, Clue, you was at the Manosphere meetup. You met Obsidian. You shook his hand. Come on, what the hell? It's gonna be in Houston, GC.
Okay. Yeah, it's far from my family, but yeah, I still would. That's closer to me than the East Coast, than Philadelphia.
Yeah. But anyway.
Okay, he said I just don't watch his stuff. Okay, fair enough. But I mean, back to the Future versus Kevin Samuels thing. Yeah, Kevin Samuels represents a different type of threat to the gynocracy. The whole bitches and hoes and, Tupac, you wonder why they call you bitch. They have no problem with that, the gynocracy, because even if you reduce a woman to sexual value and they reduce themselves to that, they still say that, hey, at least I still have sexual value. And since you are championing that value by calling them bitches, hoes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they actually encourage it. They want to be reduced to a sexual object because that is what they have that you don't have.
Yeah, interesting. It's interesting then that that I hate to go here. That Tupac song, you wonder why they call you bitch. That was some I don't even use the term. I don't believe in the concept, but that's Tupac was shame, blaming, and explaining. Sisterhood don't got a problem with that. But anyway, I'm gonna leave that one alone. But no, it's just interesting. It's just interesting that somebody who somebody who like Future, who would get called toxic, who would get called a problem, is separating himself from somebody like Kevin Samuels. That's just funny to me. That's interesting to me. I didn't do
He's
any.
Not a problem to the gynocracy.
I get it though. I get it. But okay, the duplicity of the gynocracy. They will talk about they will talk about men like Future. They talk about them negatively, but they rely on and need that's sort of like it's the fuel that keeps it going. You know what I mean?
He offers them both. Really, he offers them
a target to hit. Yeah, they can blame him. They need him to keep the party rolling, but they can also blame him for everything that's wrong.
Exactly, because they're playing both sides. They go to one group of men and say, oh, I am a victim of Future. That's who I'm a victim of, Future. They can, on one hand, they can do that, and then on the other hand, they can always go to Future to get what they want, provided that he's successful in any endeavor. They can go to the Future types for that. It's like, okay, I have a guy, he values pussy over anything in the world, and guess what? I have one. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
So Brenda was saying Future is the life of the party of the sisterhood. Well, I mean, once again, he's what they raised him to be. And this just going from his actions, from what I've determined. Like, no matter what, he's going to leave with nothing. Like, he's everything that he has is just split in so many different ways that he's basically fed several different women.
Listen, I've said this on my show that he's going to get to a point, especially if you keep having kids, and there will come a point where I don't even think they get money off album sales like that. I think doing shows is how they make most of their money. It's going to come to a point to where whatever he's making doing shows now, that's going to slow down, where he's going to end up making maybe half of that. It happens with every entertainer. At some point, if you was pulling 20 G's a show, at some point that's going to turn into 10 G's. It's going to drop down. Whatever your number is, it's going to drop down at some point. Very few stay hot forever. Right. But if he keep having kids, if he just keep on having kids, he's going to find himself in a situation, and they'll do this to you. If you are making X amount of dollars at one point, and you don't got a W-2 job, but if your child support was based off X amount of dollars that you were making at one point, you can't walk in there and say, hey, I made this lower number last year. They're not just going to change it on a dime, because you have the ability to make what you've been making. So they're going to keep it. Actually. Yeah, they will. Yeah, in certain situations, they will keep it where it's at, because that way somebody who has a job where they get paid off commission or off sales, they will literally just they could make $400,000 one year, then they could just have a slower year of 100,000, and then go get their child support based off the 100,000, and then bust ass the next year and make 650,000. You see, so they gonna keep it at whatever your potential is. They will keep it right there. So I'm saying all of that to say that if he keep having kids and his career drop down to where, whatever he's making doing shows, he's making half of that, he's going to end up putting himself in a situation where he's going to be tap dancing on stage every night just to break even, just making just enough to pay child support. It's been entertainers in that situation where they had to do like a 50 city tour just to keep their head above water on the child support. That happens.
Well, yeah. I mean, in a real way, here's the thing: Future is much like PJ Washington. It's just that he did it 8 times.
I think like 13.
Oh, like 13 times. Well, it's 8 different women, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember the number 8 being in there, but so 13 different times. So he's really like PJ Washington, except that he did it several times over. He was, that happened to him several times over. And unlike PJ Washington, he's okay with it. So they do want men to be like that. And whether he goes broke at the end of it or not, and they actually prefer that he didn't go broke, so they could say, look, he's still balling and he got the kids and all that. Like, so they actually don't want him to go broke, but they do feel that wealthy men's income should be taken by Black women.
Damn, whoa, are you getting jumped?
No. Not a cereal.
Okay, it sounded like you was getting jumped.
No, it's this bed. I'm in a hotel, and it's this freaky bed.
All right, somewhere tricking?
No, I'm not tricking. No, I'm renovating. But no, they don't have comfortable mattresses. They just got the springs, and you can hear it and shit.
Okay, cool. Shout out to Little Big Nate Dog 74 says, keep in mind the overwhelming majority of ABWs would rather have a baby by Future than have a husband making $60K a year. I'm like, yeah, duh. Like that's for, I would say, if I had to put a number on it. Hey, I don't know. Why is it doing that?
Why is what doing that?
I heard something go zzz.
No, that's the bed. That's the bed. I told you. Like, so I'm sitting on the bed, and every time I move, it makes a lot of noise. It's a hotel bed. You've been in a hotel before. It's a hotel bed. They don't use the.
Go for it. I mean, I have, but they don't make that. That's a weird noise. Well, maybe my speakers are just picking it up weird.
I just moved a little bit, and that's what happened.
Huh. All right.
Like, that's what you hear. Like. Well, I mean, probably because the laptop is on the bed too, so y'all hear.
Oh, got it. That's just the okay. Now I get it. The laptop speakers are picking up the vibration from you moving because you're laying on the object that the device that you're speaking through is on. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right, but if you had to put a number on that, of what percentage of Black women would rather get pregnant by Future versus have a husband making $60K, if you had to put a number on that?
I couldn't put a number on it, but I will say that most single mothers would rather their child be the child's father be Future than whatever it is. So that would be a up. So if you take the number of women who are completely okay with being baby mamas, I would say all of those would be okay with having Future that. So you take that percent, and then you add the percent of women who are not baby mamas. However, the reason why they're not is because they can't find an extraordinarily wealthy man to be their baby mamas. So you would add that to it as well. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's pretty high, unfortunately, but that is also something that's changing in the Black community. You know, the baby mama-ism is not what they would like for it to be any longer.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that's changing? That the baby mama? You saying the baby mamaism is dying down?
Yeah, it's dying down, and I'm not talking about as it applies to extraordinarily wealthy men. That I don't think that's ever going to change. But I do think that the baby mamaism, as it applies to, because there was a time, believe it or not, where women would go after the 60K guys, in order to have a seed in them and get a check as a result of that. That seems to be dying down.
Mm.
And who knows? I could be completely wrong. This is just anecdotal, and I'm not 60K anymore. But that I could kind of sense a cultural change in that regard. Yeah, and somebody said that the birth rate is low.
Mm. Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
said instead of stove gate, we got hotel gate. Listen, I mean, I'm paying for this hotel, and yes, if there was a woman out there who would let me smash while I'm in the hotel, um, or at her place, then yes, I would spend $200 on her. You'd be an idiot not to.
Yeah, I missed what you were saying. I was reading that chat. What the hell you mean, Crypto J457? Thank you, Bernard. We need more big brothers. What the hell you talking about? And hurry up and explain what you're talking about. We about to actually get up out of here.
Somebody said birth rate is low. That's a lie. The low birth rate would be consistent with what I'm saying. Like they're not doing the baby daddy thing as much anymore. So that is consistent with what I'm saying. Fewer baby daddy doing is fewer births. That's one of the reasons that it's low. That would be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any like this whole okay. Here's what I'm speculating. That the amount of cash and prizes has greatly diminished. With the whole you get a dude pregnant, the child support system and stuff like that. I suspect that the amount has greatly diminished, and they're coming across a largely uncooperative population of men.
Perhaps. I mean, I would like to think. I would like to think that that's the case. I would like to think the dudes are wising up and not impregnating these chicks. I would like to think that they were doing it less.
Well, the 60K brothers are.
Ah, okay. I see where you're going now. Guys
Listen,
who got
they can go and just knock up a homeless dude like real easy. I'm saying like the 60K dudes, they're a lot more guarded with it.
Gotcha.
Now, it doesn't mean that they can't or that they will guard it indefinitely, but I think that the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I think that there was a time where you could just go up to a dude that made 60K, say at a call center or something like that, and say, hey, want some pussy? Like, yes, I do. Okay, it's no need for a condom. Let's go. I think that the dude in the call center is like, no, I'm gonna use a condom instead. Like the wait time. Okay, here's what I'm getting at. The wait time. The women who want to get pregnant, there's a wait time that they determine how long before he takes the condom off. How long before a man takes the condom off? When they get with him, just like when you meet a chick, when you were single, Bernard, when you meet a chick, you ask yourself, and remember I had a formula for this, how long will it take for me to fuck? That is the question that is on your mind. How long does it take for me to fuck? And can I tolerate her from now until that estimated amount of time? So she's saying the same thing. She's saying, how long before he feels comfortable enough to take the condom off? And I think that it's a lot longer for men.
They're extending the the before they was taking the condom off after the 4th time. Now they're pushing it to like the 10th time.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Because like with me, I never take the condom off, right? I never take the condom off. However, I do get comfortable because everybody knows my routine. I take it off, I run water in it, I tie it in a knot, and then I flush it down the toilet.
Everybody don't know your routine. That was new information for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, that's my routine. That's my routine. I run water in it like a little water balloon. I tie it in a knot, and then I flush it down the toilet. I do, after a certain amount of time, get laxed in that routine.
Hmm.
However, it always stays on. They hate me for shit like that.
Do they really? Like they be telling you to take it off?
Oh yeah.
Because that is a thing that dudes who be strapping up. You do find out that they will broach that subject
No, they
of
do.
you taking it off.
Bernard, I heard bitches say, I'm allergic to latex. Very, 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 very few women are allergic to latex. And the fact that me getting three that's allergic to latex, that's statistically extremely unlikely. That
Hmm.
is statistically well, if I was a dude that like been with 1,000 plus women, that wouldn't be extremely unlikely. But I'm not. It's extremely unlikely to come across three. I heard that excuse. I heard don't clog my toilet. Don't put the condoms in the toilet because it clogs it. So I put it in my pocket and then I walk home. And then I go home. I'm telling you, I hear it all. I hear all the excuses, all the techniques. I can't get pregnant, or they'll say something, and this is a special one. This is a special one. I only got one fallopian tube and it's weak. And it's weak.
I ain't never heard that.
Yes, I heard Bernard when I hear it all. Why? I don't know. Maybe because I'm a nerd and they want my genetics. I don't know. But I heard it all, you know. And that whole, so basically when they get the baby, they want to say, oh yeah, well, it happened because of the one fallopian tube, the one weak fallopian tube. They want me to say, oh, I'll just take my chances. Nope. Nope. They hate me for it. And I'm not saying that there's brothers out there that are like me, but I am saying that they are getting closer to me. They are getting closer to, I'm going to wait at least 6 months to a year before I take the condom off. And then then they'll just leave.
Hmm. Too Cool for School says BR and GC. Salute to you. Thanks for coming on through. The Clue channel in the building says put Tabasco sauce in the condom afterwards and throw it in the bathroom trash. Wait until she goes in and listen for the scream of guilt. Shout out to Chris Brown.
Well, yeah, I
Um,
heard that. I hear the white red pillars talk about stuff like that, but they say use horseradish because I would assume that they look at the Tabasco sauce and see that it's red and shit. Like, and they have to be special stupid to say how come his sperm is red. But yeah, I heard horseradish sauce is what they use. I never did anything like that. I'm not gonna walk around with a horseradish sauce. I just flush it down the toilet. I'm assuming that women, because I know they do. I know for a fact that they do. Bernard, listen to me and listen to me good. They do. They do. Like, first of all, they spit it in themselves. Oh, fellas, listen to me and listen to me good. They spit it in themselves. It's all kind of gingivitis babies out there. They you think they swallow? They don't swallow. Nope. They go in the bathroom and then they and hope they aim and hit it on their vagina. That is one of the things that they do. They get like a turkey baster and then they try to squeeze a little bit out of it and put it inside. Yeah, they are gross. They are gross. These babies be born under gross circumstances and they don't care. They don't care that the baby came from sperm that was drenched in toilet water. They do not give a shit. They do all kind of shenanigans. But yeah, protect your sperm at all times. Protect your sperms at all times. Make sure that they swallow. I'm not talking about. Yeah. Do a test. Like, look at the tongue. Look at it. Like, look at it. Say.
all right.
Because I would like to do the stuff that I see in pornographic movies. I would like to, and sometimes I do it. I just wipe it off with a towel that I have ready.
you can, you can't have a good, you the nice cum shot. You paint her face really well. Then what? You got a warm towel on the side of the bed. Like right after you get done, you just instantly just start wiping her. No, that's.
Well, I rarely get the face. I'm gonna be honest with you, because of it's complicated. I
Yeah,
rarely.
no, I agree. So yeah.
Yeah. However, the on the back, yes, I do.
Like
I
if
kind
you
of
got to
warm.
get up, you got to get up out of the position, and then she got to get up out of the position, and y'all got to like turn and it's like it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to try to unless she was already right down there. Anyway, all right, yeah, but go ahead. Yeah, the face is
Yeah, the face is difficult, but
Mhm.
yeah, I do either do it on a pillowcase or a sheet, but I do wipe it up instantly.
Mhm. I never thought about when you watch. Okay, I was trying to get off the air, but now you got me thinking about. Okay, when you're watching a porno, it's like when he about to buzz. It's like they both like it's like a dual race to get in position for her to take it on her face. It's
Mhm.
like it's a funny thing. Watching them trying to hurry, they both trying to hurry up before he come out. That's always. I never even thought about how funny that actually look. And
Yeah, and these are
that's not.
professionals, like I'm not, so no, I
That's
rarely
something that
get the face.
you don't think to do that in real life, and in the moment she ain't thinking to do that, and yeah, so yeah, that's why yeah. Anyway, all right, lots of coordination. Shout out to Malcolm in the Middle 87. He said something about a turkey baster and a fallopian tube. I don't know, but no. Okay, he said did that's something how Ross says. Did any of them try to fight you for the condom? I don't even want to hear the story if it happened because we're trying to get off the air. And if some one
Yeah,
of them did, that is a long story. So we'll save that one for later. But Malcolm in the Middle 87, he says, very true game changer. The one fallopian tube. I've never heard of that one. Having a one fallopian tube in his week. Shout out to the Clue channel once again with the super chat. Thank you for everybody who supported the stream in any way, shape, or form. It got a little weird at the end of the show as it normally does, but we about to get the hell out of here. We're gonna be live going in with Little Big Nate tomorrow, so we definitely gonna have a good one. Gonna be a barn burner over here tomorrow, so make sure you come on in for that. And with that said, everyone, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.